It's just about 7 o'clock. What's going on from the Superbook.com sports desk? I'm Robert Walsh. I'm going to keep this short and sweet like most of y'all's Christmas kisses. Last night on Thursday Night Football, the Jags moved one step closer to the AFC South crown as they took down the Jets 19-3. Trevor Lawrence finished the game with 229 passing and added another 51 yards rushing on the ground and a score on the ground. Zach Wilson was benched for Chris Streveler in the third quarter. In Titans news, the Titans moved Ben Jones and Terrence Mitchell to injured reserve, effectively ending their regular seasons. Ben Jones had been nursing a concussion for previous weeks. Titans have also ruled out some players for Saturday, including Dylan Cole, Nate Davis, Christian Fulton, and Ryan Tannehill. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5, The Zone.
Off and running in the 7 a.m. hour. It is Ramon Kayla and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. Snow Day Radio continues in a 0-degree Nashville, Tennessee, with 11-year NFL veteran Ramon Foster, the capitalized J journalist. Her name is Kayla Anderson, and a man making a big push to be tied as the best producer in the world. From our studios this morning in Music Row, Robert Walsh making the show happen. I'm Will Bowling. The phone number is 615-737-1045. But call us if you're at home and not if you're in the car, because if you are out on the roads today, we are sending warm thoughts and safe thoughts to you on the ice-covered streets of Music City. And Ramon is muted. This is how we know that we are back on the days of.
I'll say hello.
Of Zoomed radio. Hello, Kayla. How are you? Kayla is not muted. Ramon is still muted as he is saying this.
I was muted.
Robert, demerit this man, please.
Awesome.
Yes, that is a big time.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's me. What's up, Will? What's up, Kayla? We're back.
Pissed down my
It's
leg.
sunlight outside. I did piss down my leg. That's terrible. That's terrible. I've shamed you two, haven't I?
You have.
A little bit.
That's all right.
I actually see people riding down the street and everything too, man.
Do
So
you
maybe
really?
it's clear enough. Yeah, it's folks out here driving. I had to park my truck down the hill because I have a hill coming up to my crib. And this, what was it? I think it was last year. My wife told me, Moan, you should pull the truck down the hill. I said, hey, we'll be fine. I got some de-icer that I put on the driveway. We're good. Except that snow came, and then it was ice, and then it was snow again. And I tried to get down the hill, and at the bottom of my hill, there's a fire hydrant.
Oh,
And I got a big truck. And here I was creeping down the hill, and there's a turn to get down my hill. And at the corner of that turn is the friggin' fire hydrant. And I'm turning and I'm braking and I'm sliding and I'm sliding and I'm sliding. And I finally go into the grass, probably about 3 feet away from this friggin' fire hydrant, and I finally stopped. And I said, never again.
No.
I said, can you imagine having the fire department come to your house to shut off a fire hydrant?
That'd be so. I'm sorry. I love every minute of that.
Oh my gosh. Like I felt my heart drop, Kayla.
Oh yeah. And I feel like everybody has that snow story or a weather incident. And I think that would be awesome if callers came in and maybe like joined it and said, hey, this was my biggest moment. Because it's funny. I remember mine, guys, when I used to sled down our big driveway, and it was a really steep driveway. We were on a cul-de-sac, but mind you, there were still people driving through the area. And we were on a sled. We thought it was cool to go backwards. And I was squished in between my two neighbors, and we go down backwards in the snow, obviously. And the neighbor's dad comes full blown going through on with his big old truck and runs me over.
Whoa.
And runs all the way over my leg. And I didn't do anything to it.
Whoa, Kayla.
Oh my gosh.
I was ran over by not a reindeer.
Not a reindeer.
A big old Ford truck.
You got ran over?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
It didn't even get hurt. Didn't break anything. Nothing.
Kayla Anderson also built Ford Tough. Is what we're
Shout out to 2 Rivers 4.
That's right.
I got a few stories, especially being in Pittsburgh, man. Y'all know I always go out on like dates with Keish or whatever, right? With my wife. We go out one night and I knew weather was coming, but I was like, man, Pittsburgh, they take care of roads. Lo and behold, it starts to rain and then it starts to get windy like it did last night. We're leaving dinner and we're coming down this side highway or whatever. And I see this one car in particular. I always tell you small cars. May have been like a Honda Accord or something like that. Just flying past us. And next thing you know, it starts sliding, skidding, and hit into somebody else in front of us. And me, ultimately, I'm like, slow it down. I'm in my truck, so I'm thinking I'm good. Well, truck beds don't usually have weight in them unless you really put weight in the back of them. I'm driving and we're going down this hill over an overpass. I finally understood why I said bridge freezes over before anything else, right? That warning sign. Well, this guy, the idiot, found out about that. I'm driving down and my truck gets sideways on me. And there's like a hill on the side of the bridge and I'm about to lose my mind. That's why I don't play with like the snow and ice. Like, all right, if we got everything we need, well, we're chilling. And another one was a teammate. This is the time of the year, too. I won't even say his name because it's embarrassing. He's kind of washed out of the league real bad. But young cat, he was really on his trajectory up, and he decided to treat himself with this Porsche 911 GT3. Oh, no. And it had just snowed. Listen to me. The GT3 is so bad. Like, it's like the big motor inside the Porsche, okay? Like, that is a race car. Oh, it is a race car. We're in Pittsburgh, and there's snow on the ground, and I'm looking like, yo, you just get that car? It's like, yeah, man, Christmas gift. Pretty much is what it was to himself. So what do you want to do? Guys want to do, right, Kayla? They want to show it off.
Yep.
He pulled up to the facility in this orange GT3 Porsche, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, that is a bad car. I can't fit in it. So I was in admiration of it. I was like, oh, that's a beautiful car. Lo and behold, we come back after the game because it was a road trip. We come back after the game and it snows some more. He pulls into the facility on Monday, a big old dent and scratch on the side of this Porsche.
Oh, that's tough.
Oh,
Wrecked
no.
it. I'm like, why are you driving that car in Pittsburgh first and foremost? One, this is a very blue-collar city. You got a Porsche here, fine. Your money, spend it how you want to. But you choose to drive this car while it snows? You idiot. At least get the four-wheel version of it. Like, or the all-wheel drive. It was by far the silliest, dumbest investment I've ever seen almost anybody make around Christmas holiday time, ever.
Ramon, just blink twice if that guy also had his feet cryogenically frozen at one point in his NFL
I
career.
can't even blink on this guy. That guy wasn't that dumb on this one.
Now I want to know who it is.
It wasn't this one. No, it was.
He always does this. Always
it
does
wasn't
this.
him. It wasn't that guy.
So it was not Antonio Brown.
It wasn't Antonio. No.
Good to know.
It's Christmas time. It's the time of giving information.
Yeah. I don't want to embarrass this guy. I'll tell y'all. I don't want to embarrass him. That's a Porsche, though, and
that's not great. There was one time, I'll quickly tell you mine. My most memorable snow experience was I had to go to school for something on a snow day. And I had to be there. It was either like I think it might have been like a rehearsal for a musical or something.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, I had to be there for something that like wasn't technically a class, but it was just like a meeting that I had to be there for. It may have even been like cross-country practice or track practice or something.
Yeah.
And we literally took the leaf blower and a broom and we scraped out 2 tire tracks just to get our car down our really, really steep driveway. Yeah. And we didn't pave the entire driveway. We literally just made tire tracks. And we got the leaf blower out, and my brother and I were like sweeping. And then my dad was having the blower behind us, blowing the snow out that we had like broken loose just so we could get down our driveway. Because after our driveway, it was fine. And so that's what we did. And then I got to practice. There was one day, this might have been 2 different times, or it may have been the same one. I don't remember. And our track coach did the exact same thing here in town. I think it was in 2015 when we had that ice storm where everybody was out of school for a week, and they literally made one lane of the track open with a leaf blower and like brooms, and they swept one lane of the track. That way we could practice the entire team on one lane. So, yeah, that was, or maybe the inside 2 lanes, just so you could have like distance and sprints going on at the same time.
That's serious.
The grind, man.
Will, that is hey, man, that's cold blooded.
High school coaches work hard, man. I'll tell you what, I have appreciation for the revenue and non-revenue sports together. I know that's more of a college term, but still, yeah, it was.
Well, now it's a high school term. NILs is available.
That's
true.
It is. That's true. Thursday night football last night, the Jets falling to the Jacksonville Jaguars 19-3. No help for the Tennessee Titans. And I tweeted this out yesterday, Ramon, and talking about this game and specifically some of the challenges that Jacksonville has, because we've talked about it. Like, yeah, the Titans are hurt. The Titans are more injured than really anybody else in football for a second consecutive season. But there are a lot of backup left tackles that are playing in the National Football League by this point of the season. And
it is.
Not only did Jacksonville have a backup left tackle in, Walker Little, their former day 2 draft selection for Jacksonville, was playing well. They were highlighting him as a guy that was paving the way for Travis Etienne in the run game and protecting Trevor Lawrence's blind side at left tackle. It is another reminder, guys, that the Titans are in the situation they're in, not just because of a lot of the injuries they've had. It's because injuries have happened in the spots they are the thinnest. And Jacksonville showed again last night, there are plenty of serviceable backup left tackles that allow you to still play solid offense. And Walker Little was that last night for the Jags.
He was, man. And it's simply because Walker Little has had the opportunity to kind of grow a little bit. And this is that side of it, too, where Cam Robinson comes into play. Like, Cam is there, but it's also I say time and time again, one of the things that pushed me the most was I never wanted to lose my job because, I was underplaying, like my play was below the line, and they had really good backups on our team, Will, that kind of pushed us. They grew up with us. Like, the guy behind me was like 4 or 5 years younger than me, but it was the idea that he had been around enough and they had groomed him and matured him enough to where if one of us went down, he was serviceable enough to actually play during spells for us. I told you in particular, there was a guy, Matt Fowler, that went to Bloomsburg College. He stayed on practice squad 2 years, and then he was on active roster for a year. Then he started for a year, and next thing you know, he signed to the LA Chargers in a long-term deal. Jeffrey Simmons got a sack over him from this past week, but that's just the mindset that you want to be able to have guys like Little on the Jags roster that, look, man, I know you got a really good value, but you're more valuable to us on our roster if you stay and then you grow. Like, that was a very valuable position for them to be in last night, considering the Jags are now in a very strong race to potentially win the AFC South, man, and really make the playoffs because they do have that depth, Will. I've kind of said this may have been, the demise of what John Robinson's main job and goal was, though, Kayla and Will, is to, like, grow this roster, grow depth. It ain't got to be everybody's an A player, but it's got to be really good enough to where you can get through these short spells of what I don't think the Jags going to the Super Bowl. But you say to yourself, this is good enough to get through the rest of these 3 games and potentially do something in the playoffs to where even it's not just doom and gloom. The Titans situation right now is so doom and gloom. We got like Munyer in a sense that nobody can tell you anything about him. Where are these backups, if for anything, that you can really say something about them?
Right.
Yeah, well, a lot of these backups they bring back. I mean, literally, that's kind of a Mike Vrabel thing, that he brings back names that, and I'm not saying that's all on Mike Vrabel, but he brings back guys that they're familiar with. That's just a consistent thing that has happened on this team, whether it be offensive linemen, DBs. So that's not surprising that he's bringing in names that we've kind of heard before. But like you said, I mean, what exactly have they done in terms of having to step up in big moments? I think this is the interesting question to ask. And it doesn't matter now, you guys, because Dylan Radins is on IR with a knee injury. But do you think he should have been brought in earlier than what he was, which was really, I mean, barely anything at all. I mean, yeah, he got hurt and we can't always predict things, but in a way, I feel like why not have brought him in earlier?
It's a good question, and we'll ask that question on the other side and get Ramon's thoughts on why Dylan Radins fits better as a guard versus a tackle, and just the damage control options that the Titans have at this point. Plus, the big conversation we want to have here in the 7 a.m. hour for Malik Willis tomorrow against the Houston Texans. What is a reasonable expectation for Malik Willis in this next start, his third start as the quarterback of the Tennessee Titans, considering the weather, considering how poorly Houston has stopped the run over the past 3 seasons? What do we expect from Malik Willis that would make this game a success? We'll ask that question coming up next. Get your thoughts on the phone lines as well at 615-737-1045 on the Friday edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 1045 The Zone.
The holiday fun continues at Genesis Diamonds with the year's best finance offer now extended through Christmas Eve. Genesis loves last-minute shoppers. Fellas, do something about it, okay? Get over there. But Genesis has tons of great ideas, incredible value pricing, and 5-year zero-interest financing. So you can splurge on that $9,000 diamond ring and pay just $150 a month. Or how about that $5,000 pair of diamond stud earrings, just $85 a month? You can even finance the sales tax. And you can use this amazing offer on anything. Designer engagement rings, classics like diamond pendants and bracelets. All Genesis hand-selected GIA certified diamonds are included, and so are their luxury pre-owned Rolexes. Is this the year that you treat someone or even yourself with a Rolex or that amazing diamond eternity band? At Genesis, they have the best holiday collection ever with case after case of headliner gifts that are romantic and timeless. And with Genesis guaranteed best value price and 5-year zero-interest finance offer, you can make this the best Christmas ever and still stay in budget. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds on approved credit.
Friday edition of Ramon Kayla and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors on a 104.5 The Zone. What's a reasonable expectation for Malik Willis going into tomorrow's snow-covered Saturday in Nissan Stadium with Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson? I'm Will Bowling. Come for the football talk and stay for the Christmas songs all day long. We had our Christmas song draft this morning in hour one. And I would call it a wild success, even though we were not up on 104.5 The Zone TV yet this morning. You can find that wherever you download podcasts on the 104.5 The Zone podcast network. And Robert Walsh, by the way, every time he brings us back from break, is just giving us his unfiltered thoughts on the Christmas song he's about to play us.
You didn't have to throw me out like that. It's just the most repetitive that, like,
I don't like it either.
Dr. Dre can make ding dong, ding dong. He can make that cool. Paul McCartney, like, look, just stay in your lane, man. Just stay with whatever the hell the Beatles do. You don't have to worry about Christmas, man. Let everybody else handle the ding dongs. Leave that to Blaine and Mickey. And the song is just not that great. It's too repetitive for me.
I'm with you. I don't like that one either. I think we hear it a lot, but it's just kind of not my jam.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of us had like great draft songs. Are we going to have them vote on that, Will?
Yes, we definitely will.
People of Nashville and Middle Tennessee.
I've already got too many screens in front of me just to do this show, so it's probably going to have to wait till the end of the show. But yes, we will. We will get that put out to the people.
You want to go through the picks in which we had? I feel like I only got 11 up here. Did I get everybody's pick in?
I've got them all on a list.
Okay, all right, for sure. You want to reel them off for everybody just so they can hear it again?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
So Ramon's first overall pick was
and best pick,
Temptations' "Silent Night." Robert went "All I Want for Christmas Is You" by Mariah Carey second. Kayla went with "Darlene Loves Christmas." Then I went with Amy Grant, "Tennessee Christmas," and "Baby It's Cold Outside" from Elf. Which again is just making me laugh as I'm envisioning that scene in Elf. Santa Claus Is Coming to Town, Jackson 5 was Kayla's second pick. Robert went with not Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, but in his own voice, Granny Got Run Over by a Reindeer. Ramon then went with This Christmas by Chris Brown, and then the OG You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. Robert went with Carol the Bells, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Kayla went with Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, Brenda Lee, and then I finished with Michael Bublé, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. All strong picks. There's not a Will Levis out of all of those. They're all good prospects.
No, absolutely not, man. That was good. I can put that on the playlist and play that one.
Absolutely.
All those. Yeah.
Absolutely. Actually, I will. We need to actually make a playlist of that.
Yeah.
And give it out to the people, Apple Music and Spotify, which I'm an Apple Music person, so I guess that would kind of only be for me because most everyone's Spotify. But
I'm Apple Music.
Really? Let's go.
Yeah, I'm Apple Music also.
Oh my
gosh. If the Eagles can do it, then we can do it. Yeah, we got to become friends. I didn't realize you could have friends on there. I looked at my profile and it was like, I got like people follow me on there. What the hell?
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
It's like Peloton. I realize you can like follow people on Peloton.
Yeah.
I'm like, what y'all follow me for? I'm not breaking records on this bike or anything.
Nice. I love it. Love it. So, we will get that created for the people over the next a couple of hours here on our Friday Snow Day show from our home studios here on at Ramon Kayla Will on Twitter. So the question we posed to you guys and to the people, what is a reasonable expectation for Malik Willis in tomorrow's game? And I think if we asked Mike Vrabel this, and I think really you ask anybody in the facility, the answer is just going to be win the game. Because ultimately that's what matters for this Titans team at this point. But in learning what Malik Willis could be for this franchise moving forward, I think we're looking a little bit beyond the AFC South in 2022 and seeing what he could prove as the guy or not being the guy in a 3-game sample size over these next couple of weeks. So, Kayla, I'll start with you on this one. What is a reasonable expectation for Malik, considering the opponent and considering the conditions in Nissan Stadium tomorrow?
Yeah, and considering like just what's around him, right? Which is a kind of scrapped up offensive line. You're hoping that you get back Traylon Burks. He looks like he's good to go. I think a reasonable expectation for him is to have some sort of a rhythm, get into some sort of a rhythm. I think being able to take care of the football is going to be extremely important, especially for those who have said, he's had fumbles earlier on this season. I think for him is just don't try to do too much, and just try to get something going on this offensive side of the ball. And I know it's not going to be huge plays here and there, and the weather is going to predict a lot of this, where I think you're going to have to hand it off to Derrick Henry as much as you can, just knowing his history against the Texans. But I just think the biggest thing for Malik specifically in this game is take care of the football. Don't try to do too much, and just be a guy that you've seen a little bit of growth in. Like, be a leader for this team when this team needs it right now. And we've heard that about the positivity of Malik and just how he kind of is always a consistent guy. You got to see that there on Saturday and make sure that moment is not too big for him.
Yeah, I think that's fair, Kayla. Very much so. I'm seeing some of the comments in the chat said Malik's goal, don't get killed.
And I don't know if he can really do anything about that, right? I mean, his legs will help him do that a little bit.
Yeah.
Sure. Mo, what do you think?
I'm a little bit in between. Like, I want to see him, be a pro, but I'm almost like who is it? Yogi Hurts in the zone chat. Like, let Malik loose a little bit. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, he's in a position, y'all, with this audition, because that's what it is. This is a big time audition for him and for his career. He could really set himself up to be taken more serious next year. Have a decision made on Ryan Tannehill. Truthfully, like, with a new GM, we don't know how all this is gonna like shake out. And the other side of it is this is gonna be highly pressurized for him too. We can say, hey, there's gonna be a lot of control behind this, but this kid is taking over this franchise for the rest of this year with playoffs in mind, with the AFC South in mind, with the winning record in mind. Like, there's a lot that's at play here, and there's a lot of pressure. But what better position would you rather him be in a position where he just goes to a top flight team and, hey, he's, there's always going to be conversation. Well, is it the Jalen Hurts conversation? Is it his team or is it the actual team? Why they're successful? Malik's in a real strong position to say, look, watch me do work. And I think it'd almost be an injustice if you didn't allow him to be him this weekend. What do I expect from him? I expect him to make the short passes. I expect, like, the play actions, if Traylon's out there, for him to be able to hit them here or there. The underthrows can't happen. The overthrows, unless he's throwing away, is okay. I don't want to see silly interceptions. I don't want to see him fumbling the ball in the pocket. I at least need to see him attempt staying in the pocket to actually letting the play develop. I just need a level of consistency in those departments right there to really show us what he's going to be. Right or wrong, y'all, he's at the point already in his career. As we talked about Zach Wilson, Kayla, Will, is Zach Wilson the New York Jets franchise quarterback moving forward?
No.
Absolutely not.
That's y'all after 18 months, man. So if he was a first rounder. So Malik's cord his leash gotta be shorter than that. So fair or not fair, like, Malik gotta show up for a lot of different reasons, especially with a new GM coming in. So what I need from him, no turnovers, no fumbles in the pocket. And if you're smart enough, and he is, to actually escape the pocket and keep the drive going because the Texans run game suck, do that. I don't want to see it all just being Derrick. I really kind of want to see some of Malik this game.
615-737-1045, our number. The question, what is a reasonable expectation for Malik Willis against the Houston Texans tomorrow in Nissan Stadium? 615-737-1045. For me, guys, the three things that I think of for Malik starts with getting Treylon Burks involved. We saw him be much more decisive and using his back shoulder accuracy to get Treylon Burks and Austin Hooper involved the last time we saw Malik Willis start a game against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think you get back to that, and I think you keep it really simple. If Treylon Burks is one-on-one on the outside in a passing situation, just chuck it up to him and see what he can do, because you have not had that luxury within this offense. And it's unfortunate, too, that Treylon Burks' potential return, he's officially questionable for tomorrow's game, doesn't coincide with Ryan Tannehill still being the starting quarterback, because I really was interested to see how different this offense could look with Treylon Burks helping out the vertical passing game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the biggest thing for Malik, help your offense win the turnover battle and use your legs, right? Look more decisive than the last time that we saw you make a start for this Tennessee Titans team, because the lasting image of Malik Willis, guys, is still that overtime drive against Kansas City where all you did was go backwards. And you took a couple of sacks and moments where you just could not afford to take sacks. I would rather Malik be much more decisive and just roll out and run, right? And this is one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. They have been at the bottom for 3 years in a row, not just this year. And yeah, Derrick Henry has a lot to do with that, but I'm fine with Malik Willis having more rushing yards than passing yards in these weather conditions tomorrow in Nissan Stadium.
Yeah, and that's something that with Ryan Tannehill having the bum ankle and really 2 bum ankles, we just knew he couldn't do any of that. And Tannehill has wheels. Like, we've seen him make great plays on the ground before, but that was the Tannehill we were not going to see no matter what. And so knowing that now you have Malik that has 2 healthy wheels that can run, we've seen him do it before. I'm with you, Will. Like, I'm okay to see a little bit of that on Saturday, especially considering the fact that he probably is going to have to be on the run at some point with the guys that are in front of him.
Yeah. And that's the other aspect of it too, to where it's like, Malik, dog, you have a built-in excuse. Your O-line, as far as we know, nobody knows much about him. I couldn't tell you much about him other than the guys we've seen start. NPF, we know what he's like. We know Dennis Daly's over there. And then Aaron Brewer also at center. This is a makeshift line, and I'm not going to make it seem like it's all bad that they're a makeshift line. Like, they can come together and make a strong stand and be like, hey, nobody believes in us anyway, so we might as well just go out here and just play free and loose and, play these certain ways. But if you said there was pressure in the pocket and Malik was just sitting there like a standing duck, then that's wrong on Malik. No, I'm with you, Will. He's got to use his legs this week. You're like, this ain't the old NFL where it's like, hey, he's a runner. Like, no, it's one of those situations like, dang, he can run. I'm looking at Trevor Lawrence last night, and I said that to myself. I said, dang, that dude is an athlete, and that's good. Use it.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence last night continued a new trend for him. He had 51 yards rushing, his second highest total of the season and career. And over his past 7 games, he has 29 rushes for 191 yards and 2 scores.
Wow.
It's a lot closer to what we saw from him at Clemson. And Trevor Lawrence, by the way, the epitome of quote-unquote sneaky fast. And every white quarterback cliche that we hear about athletic guys, they're mobile. He'll surprise you with this athleticism. He's a real gym rat, real first in, last out kind of guy. Every white stereotype for athletes.
You said it, not me, Will.
Oh my goodness.
You said it, not me, baby.
I mean, I'm not wrong.
Anyway. Just for a guy that has that stature, right? Because he's a tall guy. He's a bigger guy. Like, you wouldn't think that he would have that type of speed. And I'm not saying he's like some track athlete here, but he does. It's kind of deceiving at times when he takes off and you're like, whoa, did he just do that?
Yeah. Yeah. He burned the Jets last night, and I think they do have a good defense. But there was nothing they can do, man. That can be a real problem.
615-737-1045, our number this morning if you want to jump in. And Kayla asked the question before the break as well. Ramon, did the Titans wait too long to try to go to Dylan Radins and try to use other options at the tackle position specifically? You've talked a lot about, even from the minute he was drafted, on Titans Radio's coverage 2 years ago, that you saw Dylan Radins as a guard instead of a tackle. What specifically about him, in your eyes, makes him a better guard than outside player on that left side?
It comes down to athleticism at the highest level. It's okay that college tackles can be NFL guards. I mean, you got a more athletic person on the inside. You understand angles and you understand pass protections a whole lot better. I thought his size was very advantageous for him to be on the interior side of the offensive line. And respectfully, heck, you are who you are in this league. You judge how you judge. I honestly didn't think his footwork was fast enough to be a tackle. If I looked at Dylan Radins, I say to myself, like, Does he move like Bakhtiari? Does he move like Cam Robinson? Does he move like Laramie Tunsil? Does he move like a whole plethora of these guys in the league that play tackle? And you'd probably be like, man, he could. But the answer overall is no. And that's fine. It's okay. Move them inside. That way I'll say this, you get better athletes on the inside, right? You get an opportunity to really put a guy on the inside that's athletic enough, that's strong enough, and got long enough arms and length that he can play on the inside. Guards are big on the inside. I think it was at Kansas City, got a 6'6" center. Like, these are all okay things now, because if you're an athlete, this is okay. Did they wait too late to put him on the inside or start playing him on the offensive line? I'll say no, Will, because you get what you earn in this league. And coaches evaluated that enough to say he's just not ready. Dennis Daly may have had better feet than Dylan Radins on the outside, and that says enough about him. But you had already been stuck with Aaron Brewer, and Nate Davis was your absolute starter from day one. So there was no room for him. He should have been really priming himself on the practice field to work on his craft, to be in a position to say, look, I am personally developing within my team concept. And the fact that he didn't get that shot, Will, that's a him problem more than it is a team problem.
615-737-1045, the number, and a big one tomorrow in Nissan Stadium, not only for the Titans, but for a potential return for Traylon Burks, who has been back on the practice field. Kayla has been out at St. Thomas Sports Park this week. And Kayla, I want to get your thoughts on just how Traylon has looked and the way he's kind of gotten acclimated back into the fold coming up, and really look back at some comments from Mike Keith and Coach Mack about his first return from injury that I think sets a high bar for his return in Nissan Stadium tomorrow. We'll do that coming up next on Ramon Kayla and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, the Snow Day edition on 104.5 The Zone.
When it comes to large home repairs, a lot of the time we homeowners pretend we don't see the warning signs. We are afraid of what we're going to hear. This is especially true with waterproofing and foundation repair. It could be something big that needs to be fixed now, or it could be a small problem that'll become bigger later. But in these moments, you want a peace of mind, and that's when you need United Structural Systems. With USS, you get problem solvers, experts to educate you and help you understand what's happening with your home. USS will provide an honest diagnosis and stand by the work and warranties. Coolest thing is those warranties stay with the house even if you sell it. But USS is based right here in Middle Tennessee, and it's a member of our community. So when it comes to something as important as your home, USS is the company who cares and the company you can trust. USS serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and Northern Alabama. And you can find them online at USSTN.com, or you can call them 615-227-2275. We guarantee our best. Call USS.
Friday edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, right here at 104.5 The Zone with Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson. I'm Will Bowling. This is one that probably should have made our Christmas song draft and did not.
It was my next one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go. Right off the board. Not quite. That would have been the number one undrafted song that you would have called. Which Ramon Foster will tell you, there's nothing wrong with the undrafted songs, is there?
Absolutely not. But we're getting dragged right now for my song selection, man, on social media. Hey, Will, me and you, we are.
What?
You and I.
How?
Somebody, Reed Barker, there said Kayla cooked us with her selection.
Yeah, I don't know about
Just
that.
like Russ, baby. Just like Russ.
Stop.
Interesting. Well,
Hey.
we'll put it out to a vote.
Man, that's crazy. Well, I didn't come on here today, okay, to get slandered by my Christmas songs when I know they were A1 out here.
It's fair. By the way,
not?
temperature check outside. I said that's fair. Temperature check outside, -1 in downtown Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Oh, what a
Periodically do
beautiful
that
sight.
as the show continues this morning. But that is just a horrible, horrible thing.
All I'll say is
that is
enjoy
happening.
the cold because that summertime heat, it'll make you want the
I will
cold
do no
too.
such thing. I told Kayla in our last break,
Bird.
I almost this morning went outside because I just like wore shorts this morning just around the house. I
Yeah.
almost went out on my little balcony. I say balcony, like I can like take one step and that's about it. It's basically just where my AC unit lives. And
Yeah.
I almost took a step outside in my slippers and shorts just to feel what it felt like. And I still might do it in one of these breaks and record it. And maybe we can play the audio at 9:45 before our keys to the game.
I'll say this.
I like that.
I do too, but there's another cool little trick too, Will. If you got a Keurig or one of those automatic water dispensers on your tea maker, if y'all got kids and you're listening right now to us, or if you just want to do it yourself, go get like close to boiling water, walk outside and toss that water in the air and watch it like turn into snow.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
y'all
cool.
should do that.
Just
yeah.
not straight up. Just don't throw it straight up. You should throw it like
Yep.
in front of you.
Throw it out. Yeah. Rob, that's the disclaimer we were looking for.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Rob. You cover us, man.
I
got
always
you.
told Michael likes to stand under these icicles and stare straight up at them. And I would say, Michael, one of these days, one of those is going to hit you in the head. It was only a matter of time. 615-737-1045, the number, if you want to jump in. So Kayla has seen Traylon Burks back on the practice field at St. Thomas Sports Park this week. Any takeaways from what you've seen and just kind of run through for us the protocol of why we can't hear from him as much as we're hearing from other guys right now?
Right, because that's the first thing that we wanted to be able to do for fans this week is if he was back at practice, oh, well, then why aren't you guys talking to him in the locker room? Because you guys have heard us say he's been in there. So the whole thing with the concussion protocol is you can be at practice at a certain point, right?
Yep.
But we are still not allowed to talk to Traylon until he's completely out of concussion protocol. So some people learned that in the locker room this week that that's still a no-no. We can't do that yet. And it's so tempting because it's like, it's right there. Like, why
He's
can't we
joking.
just go talk to him?
Yeah.
But that's the case. We did see him out there. So Wednesday was the full practice that we were able to really see, where we were out there for about 20 minutes. And he did everything. He went through stretch. He went through individual drills. I put a little bit of video out of him and he looked fine. Like the last time Traylon came back from that turf toe, and that took a little longer, clearly a different type of injury. He looked great. And I didn't see anything different with Traylon this roundabout way here coming back from the concussion. Now you can just hope and pray that he comes completely out of it, because like Mike Vrabel said yesterday, we're hoping that we get Traylon back. It looks like he's done everything in terms of getting to that point.
And by the way, Kayla, to your point about you can see him but can't talk to him, though, he's technically on the injuries list still in the sense of the concussion. Practicing and full practices is also part of concussion protocol. Today, he'll be evaluated to see how he reacts to movement from yesterday and whatnot.
Yeah, no, you're right. And really quick, I wanted to ask you guys this because I think I'm correct on this. Zach Cunningham can also technically come off IR today, I believe.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's been designated to return and still needs to be returned to the active roster. I believe, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because with the game happening tomorrow, it needs to be done today, just like
Yes.
usually it's done on Saturday. So that's something to look for too, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything today, basically a Saturday of final roster moves and every kind of declaration that has to happen for a Sunday game that would typically happen on a Saturday. So it does kind of feel like a Saturday a little bit. I mean, a lot of us working from home today and staying off the roads out there. But yes, for all intents and purposes, today a Saturday and game week preparation for tomorrow's game. Ramon, coming off of concussion protocol and just your experience with that, any unique challenges of the NFL of just that first game coming back from a concussion? Because I imagine you might be a little bit less inclined to love contact and to kind of just throw your body out there that first game after this kind of injury.
That's the one aspect of it right there, Will, is okay, how cautious am I being? I think now the way they do it is very cool and safe for the player too, because by the time you get back out there now, you know for sure you are back at zero as far as your symptoms and everything else. What you don't want, like you said, is that second hit that makes it easier, like Ben Jones has, to get another concussion. You want to do all things to kind of avoid that situation. But you're right, Will. It is a very physical sport. It is concussions that are, distributed throughout the game and whatnot when it comes down to the hits that a person can take. You want to make sure your reaction is good. It's still quick. The eyes is always the biggest thing too. Am I seeing at the side of my eye clearly, as far as just, the way the visual aspect of having a concussion can affect you? There's too much going on for you to be thinking, and then the reaction aspect of it. Like, I don't think people understand how quick and fast you have to react when your vision is somewhat restricted inside of a helmet anyway. So making sure that doesn't cause a headache and there's no crazy contact in front of you that definitely puts you back in the protocol. And I honestly think that's probably what Ben went through again, is either a hard reset because he got ramped up so fast back onto the field, or it's probably honestly just a light hit again because he just recently gotten over one.
Yeah, and Ben was out for 2 weeks too, guys. So this wasn't just a 1 week thing for Ben. We're seeing more and more guys go out for more than 1 week now. And that's what's just crazy to me, what happened to Tua Tagovailoa at the beginning of the year, for him to even be back remotely that soon for the first game. And then even after that second hit, he came back pretty soon. That's why it's crazy. I don't know if it's a case-by-case situation, Ramon, but that was, to me, that stood out so much now that you're seeing some of these other guys for the Titans be out for, 2+ weeks.
Yeah. And I've also seen a trend too, for the most part. It seemed like every single person that's gotten a concussion now has had about 2 weeks. And again, I told you, they've made protocols so much harder to pass in a good way. Because again, like I said, the visual side of it, they never really looked at it. They never put you really through any motor skills. They never made you have reactionary tests that you had to do. So guys are probably feeling like they're fine, but they're still failing the test, or there's certain aspect of the impact test that they're not able to grasp so far. And that's good for them because now they take more time to get their brain healthy.
615-737-1045, the number if you want to jump in. And halftime of the show already from home today on our snow day Friday here on Christmas Eve. Coming up next, we tell you what Mike Vrabel had to say yesterday about Malik Willis when he officially made him the starting quarterback tomorrow in Nissan Stadium, specifically the leadership and the preparation for Malik Willis that's improved. You'll hear what Mike Vrabel had to say about that. Run through the official injury report for tomorrow's matchup with the Texans, and talk with voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, coming up at 8:20. All that and more as we continue on the Friday edition of Ramon Kayla and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
What's going on? 7:57, almost 8 o'clock. Close enough, right? From the Superbook.com sports desk, I'm Robert Walsh, and I'll keep this short and sweet like most of y'all's mistletoe kisses. Last night on Thursday Night Football, the Jags moved one step closer to the AFC South crown as they took down the Jets 19-3. Trevor Lawrence finished the game with 229 passing yards, and he added another 51 and a score on the ground. Zach Wilson was benched in the third quarter for Chris Streveler as he filled out the rest of the game for the Jets, but it was not enough as they fall 19-3. In Titans news, Ben Jones and Terrence Mitchell were added to the injured reserve, effectively ending their regular season, and the Titans have already ruled out some players for Saturday, including Dylan Cole, Nate Davis, Christian Fulton, and Ryan Tannehill. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
And the show goes on into the second half of our Friday edition. Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. With Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson, I am Will Bowling, a snow day show on Christmas Eve. And voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, joining us coming up in 15 minutes. Your phone calls at 615-737-1045. As we get you ready for Titans and Texans tomorrow in Nissan Stadium. Fast show so far today, guys.
It was. It's almost like we had two shows in one, because the whole beginning of the show was kind of us getting our, whereabouts here in our different locations, making sure the audio was good. We had our Christmas song draft, which, might I mention, Ramon Foster on his phone during the break, just slamming all the tweets that are coming his way that his list was not good enough.
Hey, listen, man.
What a competitor
he refuses to take an L. Literally refuses.
Here we are, okay? I had the first overall pick, and it needs to show that was worthy of you, okay? Okay, with the Temptation Silent Night. But for somebody to comment and say that you cooked us with your picks, Kayla, I'm not going to sit here and stand around like we're not those dudes, too, with our picks. Those were solid picks, okay? I'm starting to feel like there's a bunch of bias out there towards you, Kayla, that's not okay with how we're judged in this thing, because those were some fire songs. I'm glad Brad Crawford said my song at number 9 was a steal.
Grinch. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much people are thinking I'm a cool cat. I mean, I got a mug today that says coffee makes me poop. And I mean, I don't know if I would categorize that as cool, but man, this was one of my favorite Christmas gifts. Like drinking out of a mug, it just does something different for you.
You're showing us up. Oh, we got people commenting on who did what. Jimmy Morris on Twitter says Bob they're calling Rob Bob now. Okay, Bob got a steal at number 2.
He really did.
He really did.
That's because he actually stole the pick.
We got we got to be
Nice.
consistent though. No more Bob. That's my dad. All right, that's my dad.
Bob is your dad?
Well, okay. So I'm Robert Lee Walsh the fourth. So
Wow.
every Robert, my dad is Bobby. My grandfather is Robert. I was Robbie until I felt like that was kind of like adolescent. It sounded like I was like a child that would break your window with a baseball or something. Like, dang, that neighborhood Robbie. So I changed to Robert. But and then affectionately known as Bert. So, I mean, we all have different aliases, but Bob is my father. So please know Bob.
So real quick, Rob, since you're the fourth, man, and this is the holiday version, and we're talking about families and stuff, like you're the fourth. That's significant, dog.
It's cool.
I got to ask you, in like future, like Rob, in endeavors in life, do you feel pressured, man, to be able to like really push out a fifth? You feel me?
Dude.
Oh my gosh, Ramon.
No, it is true because I do. It is a massive pressure because my grandfather was worried. He had 2 girls first. So he was worried that he would never have one. And then circumstance happened where his best friend died. He had a boy. He named that boy after his best friend. So he thought he was done. He snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap. He wasn't having any more kids. But then he popped out my dad. He's like, you know what? We'll have a Robert.
Can we use a different verb than popped out, please, for the rest of this? What do we?
It's if I have a girl, she will be ROBBI. Because I'm not playing. I'm not going to be the one to stop the trend.
What about Ruby?
What about what now?
Ruby.
What are we, the 1920s?
Yeah. Agnes.
Yeah.
How about Martha?
Yeah.
Call in with your names for Robert Walsh's hypothetical child.
How about Gretchen?
615-737-1045.
Rob, I had to ask that question, man, because I couldn't imagine like that pressure that you're under right now, dog. Like there's 4 of you. And here you are, man. Like, hey, and it's gonna be on you because we the one that hold that chromosome. Good luck, bro. I'm here for you, though.
That's like the first question he would ask Stetson Bennett.
Oh my goodness! First question you'd ask Stetson Bennett. I think the first question I would ask Stetson Bennett is, first of all, how dare you?
Yeah, again.
Yeah, right. Oh my goodness. Well, the injury report for the Titans going into tomorrow at Nissan Stadium officially ruled out yesterday by Mike Vrabel. Dylan Cole, Nate Davis, Christian Fulton, Ben Jones, Terrence Mitchell, Josh Thompson, and Ryan Tannehill, of course, as well. Dylan Radin's out with his move to IR. The good news is that you're likely going to get Traylon Burks back, officially questionable, but full participants every day of practice this week. Andrew Adams, no injury designation for him. Jeffrey Simmons, no injury designation for him. He was a full participant yesterday at St. Thomas Sports Park. Of course, Derrick Henry, not injury related as he gets rest days. And Danico Autry, no injury designation for him. Maybe burying the lead there, Kayla, because that is the best possible news right now for this Titans defense.
I know, because we have had so many injuries in terms of like to report every single week leading into game day. And we didn't really know about Danico and his return last week, but this week he practiced full. He looked good, you guys. I thought he was moving at a different pace this week, and I think we're going to see Danico out there, and that is big for this defense because we know what Danico has done when he was in the lineup, when he was on that front, and I'm sure Jeffrey Simmons is just smiling big too this weekend.
Oh, has to be. And that's the thing, too. I always think, like, he don't even get an opportunity to go to a warm city to make his comeback. Nico's got to play in the coldest game in Nissan Stadium history, man. But it'll be so good to have him back just to see what the defense could look like. Or truthfully, like, we give a whole lot of credit to the stars in this league, right? And Jeff is a star in this league. Voted to his first-time outright Pro Bowl, but a lot of the time, guys will let it be known who are those type of dudes. Like I remember Troy Polamalu giving a whole lot of credit to Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark only made 1 Pro Bowl. We know Ryan Clark, the personality, or you have a bunch of guys that play defensive end that know they have a counterpart on the other side of them that really causes chaos enough for them to be able to cook the way they do. Like Jeffrey's situation to me says, hey, like, I know I am that guy, but, man, I do need help, too. And that's where Danico comes into play. That he's a huge part of the way Jeff is able to play some. You know, like, Jeff has everything you need, but Danico plays a strong part in that, too.
Yeah, it certainly does. And the Titans have been winless since Danico Autry went down in Green Bay. So there is a 1-to-1 correlation with amount of Danico Autry's on the field and wins and losses for this Titans team. So certainly an important part of this Titans defense. Some interesting sound yesterday from Mike Vrabel talking about Malik Willis. And Kayla, just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on this before we play the audio of Mike Vrabel talking about Malik. I feel like Mike Vrabel's been pretty positive about Malik Willis this week and is doing everything that he can. Maybe it's just boosting his confidence as much as possible because a lot of the processes for Malik to take that next step are pretty mental. at this point, just believing in himself. But I've been pleasantly surprised, I would say, with just the vote of confidence that Mike Vrabel has given Malik Willis this week.
Yeah, and really from the minute that they drafted this young man, I could always tell like Vrabel was a big believer in Malik, right? No matter what his future might be, he believes that this guy can continue to grow, and this is going to be one of the biggest tests here moving forward with these 3 games. But yeah, I think it is important to give him a little bit of that confidence rolling into this week now that you know that Tannehill is probably not going to be here for the remainder of the season. So Malik, hey, you're our guy. Let's go, kind of tap on the butt. Let's do this. But I think that really deep down, Vrabel believes in Malik Willis. I don't think any of it is a front. I think he truly believes in this quarterback and that he can make strides to get to that point. But yeah, I think it was really encouraging, everything that he said about him this week. And if you're Malik Willis, you take that as, yo, my head coach has my back. Like, here's just another reason for me to go out there and have that confidence this week against Houston.
So here is the exact answer from Mike Vrabel yesterday, talking about Malik Willis's leadership and preparation this week, and specifically just how far he's come in that portion of the game since his last start.
And I think his, the leadership and his grasp of what we're doing and the game plan has been good. We have to go out and, be ready to play and execute. I mean, that's the most important thing. We try to focus each and every week to prepare as a starter. And I think he's excited for the opportunity.
So there is Mike Vrabel talking about Malik yesterday when officially naming him the starter. And we'll get Mike Keith's thoughts on this coming up in about 10 minutes. But I'm interested to see what more the Titans are comfortable putting on his plate. Because the guy is so positive, Kayla. He's got such a quiet confidence about him. How does that translate to the field now in the 3rd start since the 2nd one in Kansas City?
Yeah, I think that that's the one thing that we've liked about him when we've seen him out there. Even when he's made mistakes, he's right back there on the sideline, getting the pad out, looking at what he did wrong. I think, again, we're probably going to see Josh Dobbs out there who can, in between situations, maybe help him break down things. I know that Josh Dobbs is new to this team, but he said it himself, like, yeah, this is a little bit of a challenge picking up an offense, but this is a really smart guy. So I believe he can kind of help Malik there on the sideline. But I think Malik's positivity is what you need now moving forward. If it could be a guy that is unsure about himself or inconsistent in the way when he makes a mistake, he goes out there and like Zach Wilson, you can see the frustration on his face. I think Malik's just so steady Eddie that's what you need right now. It's the best situation moving forward at this point with what you're handed because you don't have Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah. He is the fallback plan for this weekend, man. There is no other plan other than Malik. If Dobbs is in, man, I expect as simple of an offense you could ever craft together for a team. But hearing Vrabel kind of give that vote of confidence towards Malik, that's high praise. And I say this too, he has to because he ain't got many other options. Logan Woodside is in Atlanta right now, as far as we know, right? Yep. Can you imagine the conversation behind that if Logan was still here? Malik, man, this is a golden, I can't overstate this enough, a golden opportunity to really stake your claim. Somebody asked in the chat, are we prepared to, see have we seen the last of Ryan Tannehill, this year, as the Tennessee Titans? And I kind of said, in the chat, that all depends on Malik. It really does. Like, is that fair to kind of say, y'all? Like, am I over, like, the overstaying that a little bit? Like, it really depends on Malik?
Well, this year, I don't know if that depends on Malik. Moving forward, it does.
Moving forward.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, moving forward, it does. Yeah. If you see Malik throw for 235, which I think is real good for a rookie, 235, a touchdown to Chig, and no fumbles, no interceptions, and about 80 yards on the ground. How excited is this fan base going to be?
I mean,
well, they'll say,
that's
put
a high
me
bar.
in. Yeah, right. That is a high bar. They're going to be like, yeah, he's our guy.
Yeah. So I guess that's the question. What's good numbers for him? I don't think 112 is good. Like 112 means he's got a governor on him, right? Like 12, like let's go 8 for 12 for 112. Like that's a governor. If we see him get about 200, 215, 220 on the ground, no interceptions, maybe a touchdown on the ground or through the air, that's something to build off on. Malik makes himself more of a threat if he does something like that.
Well, sure, but that's you're talking about Lamar Jackson kind of numbers for this guy. I mean, I just want Jacoby Brissett. Like, just come in and be a serviceable backup that's going to run the football every now and then, that's not going to turn the football over, and that's not going to ruin it for the running back that's averaging, 200 yards per game in his last 5 against this team, right?
I'm with you, but I'm also saying to myself, there is absolutely no reason just to have him as serviceable. Not him. Not right now, Will. Like, I'm with you. Derek is the guy. I'm with that. I love to see Derek go for 219 again also, but I still say to myself, like, there's no reason to have a governor on him this weekend. I kind of expect him to cook a little bit. Like, that's where I'm at. I would expect him to cook this weekend. Am I starting him on my fantasy team? Nah, because I don't know what the play call is going to be, but I expect him to cook. I would want him to cook this weekend, especially against the Texans.
I think it's a separate discussion for Dallas than it is for Houston. I think against Dallas, you're going to have to see Malik Willis be more dynamic, make more plays in the run game, and be a little bit more off script versus what we've seen from him. I think this game, you could throw the ball 5 times and beat Houston as long as those 5 throws aren't turnovers. Right. And as long as Derrick Henry is put in a position to succeed, we'll see. I mean, it's already happened once. Honestly, though, too, Ramon, I think if you were playing this game in controlled conditions and it wasn't going to be 15 degrees, I think I would agree with you more. I think the weather has to play a factor in what the game plan is for Malik on this given Saturday.
I can understand that.
I think the weather and just the fact that this is going to be the offensive line moving forward isn't going to be, everybody we want it to be, but at least like this first time, you're still kind of getting used to the guys that are in there. On top of the weather, I don't think he's going to do too much. Like I said in the previous segment, I think that he just needs to take care of the football and do enough to win the game.
615-737-1045, the number. And coming up next, voice of the Titans, Mike Keith. He's seen some pretty cold games in Nissan Stadium. None have been colder than the one that will be played tomorrow. Get his thoughts on how much more of the playbook Malik Willis is comfortable with now versus the last time that he saw the Houston Texans. The Vot joins us coming up next. Voice of the Titans, Mike Keith on Ramon Kayla and Will, 104.5 The Zone. It's Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors right here on 104.5 The Zone, getting ready for Titans and Texans coming up tomorrow in the frozen tundra of Nissan Stadium. With Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson, I'm Will Bowling, and we go to the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline for our weekly conversation with voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Better rates, better coverage, and better service. That's why Tennesseans have been relying on Farm Bureau Health Plans for their health coverage for 75 years. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Good morning, Will Bowling.
Mike, with Malik Willis making the start in Nissan Stadium, how much more of the playbook do you feel like he is comfortable with now versus the last time that he took on the Houston Texans?
I think he's comfortable with everything. I don't just think it's playbook. I do think there are concepts that he's been able to now go back and watch himself run on tape in live game action and say, oh, that's how you do that better, or that's the point, that's the sort of that mesh point where I need to be to hand the ball to Derrick Henry, or that's why that throw needs to come out earlier. So I do think there's some things like that. But what we've noticed about him in recent weeks is he's just been a different sort of player in practice. And you noticed it coming out of Kansas City. You know, there was more of a grown-up sort of attitude with him. And I'm not saying he wasn't before, but it's more grown-up is not the right term. It was a confidence. It was a consistency. It was an understanding of the responsibility. And Mike Vrabel has acknowledged the exact same thing. He said, yes, I have seen differences in him since he got those starts because I think he understands now what the job is more so. So, I mean, he went in the ball game last week and looked much more confident. He just popped right in there, did his thing, made the throws to Conley, ran the ball the one play and had a nice run. And I think overall you saw the difference in just his presence and his demeanor, and that's what I would expect we're going to see from him tomorrow as well.
And Mike, it's interesting hearing Mike Vrabel talk about Malik, and we played his thoughts in the last segment about how his leadership and his confidence has taken the next step over these past couple of weeks in practice. Like you said, Malik really does kind of have this quiet confidence about him, doesn't he? And it seems like it's just a personality trait you can't really teach. That is the one thing we've known about him, right? That he's just a positive and quietly confident guy. And it's cool to see him kind of take the next step in that and see that translate to the field.
It's been fun. I've been so impressed with him since the day he got here. And make no mistake about it, he was a guy in coming in that was going to need time. And I think he's still going to need time. Would it have been better had he not gotten starts this year? I think so. But I think because the two starts went pretty well, he won a game and then he took Kansas City to overtime. I think from those experiences and from the understanding of it and from him being a more grown-up guy than what the normal 23-year-old is. And that's what you never know, right? That's the part of all of this that all of the testing and all of the interview process, you can never know because a guy can sit right in front of you and you could say, man, this guy's got his stuff together. And then the bullets start flying and he freaks out or he loses confidence in himself or whatever. And then there are some guys that can sit in front of you and say, okay, I think he's got it. And then when he goes out, he grows more confident because he keeps working at it and he keeps pulling, his weight in practice and he's doing the things he needs to do. My thing on Malik has been since day one is I think he's got a real chance because I think he's got the internal stuff that gives him a chance. We know about the external stuff. We see the gifts, but I think he's got the makeup to do this and or to at least have a chance to do this. And I grow more optimistic about him by the day. Now, how does that translate tomorrow when it's 15 degrees? I don't know. I mean, that it'll be another step in the process of learning where he goes and how much further he's got to go.
Yeah. Mike, man, he's the focal point of this weekend for sure, considering Tannehill's out, and we don't know for how long. Reports is it's the entire year, man. And if that's the case, with Tannehill, Malik's opportunity, how big is this for him at this time of the year where it could be his show moving forward, man? And how big of an audition this is for now and for next year for him and this team?
It's always an audition, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
At any moment. I mean, remember Tom Brady took over for Drew Bledsoe, who was regarded at that time as one of the best quarterbacks in the AFC. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, he was a well-regarded player at that point. People forget the context of that Bledsoe came back into the AFC Championship game when Brady got hurt and won them that game, and then Bledsoe went on to have more productive years in the league. So it's always an audition. You know, I don't know what the future holds. I don't know who the new GM is going to be. I don't know what their perspective is going to be. I don't know what the decisions are going to be. But it's always an audition. Now, make no mistake, if there's a chance Ryan Tannehill can come back and play, he's the quarterback. You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he wasn't put on injured reserve yesterday, so I don't know where it all stands or what the medical of it is. But, I mean, Tannehill's a guy that you count on. But for anybody, I mean, what an opportunity for Trey Avery to get back out there. You know, what an opportunity for Hassan Haskins to get to play more football. All of these things factor in when you have these moments, and you have people who have the ability to step forward and potentially put themselves in a position going forward to do more.
Yeah. Speaking of doing more, man, we brought this up in the segment before you came on, Mike, but Kayla told us that Danico is probably ready to go. He should be ready to go this weekend. He's excited about it. In your time here and covering this team and just being around sports, we always look at the stars, right? But most of the stars that tell you they have a Robin, and they don't want to ever call him a Robin. But Danico and Jeff working together, man, it's like Batman and Robin and how their production kind of correlates. And I'm sure Jeff is excited to have him back. But I know there was guys on this Titans defensive line before, like a Hainsworth and a Bully and a Curse, that had guys like Van den Bosch or whoever that really assisted them in their careers, man. Speak on how important it is to not just be the guy, but have other guys that carry their weight too.
Well, and what it changes is it changes your personnel package opportunities. Because when you put Danico back in, then you're in a position where you have the ability to do other things with other people. What can you do more of with DeMarcus Walker at that point? And I had a chance to visit with DeMarcus yesterday. We were talking about Danico, and he talks about how Danico's his guy in terms of what he looks to football-wise, because they are of a similar skill set from the standpoint that they're both very versatile players. Jeff's Jeff. You know, Jeff can do a lot of things, but there are a few Jeffs. But Danico is this crafty, unusual. I mean, he's unusual size. He's unusual length. He's unusually athletic. He's 33 years old, and he's clearly still got it. And all of those things that you factor in. And so, yeah, I mean, and I think they could line up. I mean, if they get Zach Cunningham back as well, that's another piece that you can do more things with because they give you more versatility. Several of the pieces that they've had to put in are, I don't want to say they're one-dimensional, but they're less dimensional than Danico, than Zach, than those types of players. And so they've had to run more basic matchup things instead of going back to doing the attacking things that they want to do. And that's what Danico hopefully provides if he can give them snaps tomorrow.
Mike, meanwhile, on the Titans offensive line, it was really just crazy to see Ben Jones go on IR. I don't know if that was surprising to you. Your thoughts about that, and just who on this offensive line can step up as a leader, as it is a little banged up. I should say a lot banged up.
Yeah, I was not surprised, unfortunately, because I just felt like that, you know, when they got in the situation that they did, and that Ben had that come up, especially for the fact that he missed 2 games earlier. I was not shocked by that news. Unfortunately, it saddened because he's the heart and soul of this football team. But now, the Corey Levins and the Aaron Brewers have to step up. You're going to have some opportunities for, guys to get a chance to play. I mean, Jordan Ruse may make the first start of his entire NFL career tomorrow at the age of 29. Wow. He's played in 20 NFL games. He's never started an NFL game. Corey Levin this will be the first game that he starts in the United States of America. He started a game in London. Our game in 2018 in London. But these are guys who've worked for it. I mean, Corey's a guy who's become a real good football player. And the guys who recruited him at Chattanooga told me some great stories about him, and really felt like if he got the opportunity to stay with it, that he had that football mind and that football heart. And he's battled off practice squad, he's battled bumping around, and he's ready for his time. So as you talk about Malik, as you talk about guys that are getting their chance, here are guys getting chances and potentially could make themselves answers in either roles as starters or competing as starters or continuing as backups for next year. And, but they've got a chance to do something special this year if this team can power home and win the division.
And one guy that we're still talking about that has been able to stay healthy this year, which has been tremendous, is Derrick Henry, right? And what this guy can do against the Texans. His last 4 games, over 200 yards rushing, plenty of touchdowns mixed in there, Mike. But just how much do you feel like he's putting on his shoulders in this game, whether he's going to say that or not? Because likely he's not telling us that.
No, he's not. I think he understands where it's at. And I'm fascinated to see how the Texans are going to play the Titans, because they would have to, if they go to one of those 6-man lines or, one of those incredibly stacked boxes, they really go away from what Lovie Smith defenses are all about. But do they just say, you know what, this is what we're going to have to do? So, we shall see, the direction that they try to go. But we saw in the game in Houston on October the 30th, he did some things a little differently, but not philosophically terribly different. And the Titans ran for 314 in that game, but yet only won 17-10. So, that's the challenge in all of this. Is do they say, because the last 2 teams, I think, have said, hey, if Derek runs for 100, we're okay as long as nobody else beats us. That's like, we're going to let Steph Curry get his 30 and we're going to, defend everybody else. That's kind of the philosophy. And I think it'll be interesting to see what Houston does and how Houston will attack, and how Tennessee chooses to attack them, especially in the weather. The weather is such a different factor because these are 2 teams that don't usually see a lot of this. The Titans have done it once before playing in Green Bay, but it wasn't quite like it's going to be tomorrow.
Mike, what can Joshua Dobbs bring to this quarterback room? How can he help Malik Willis in communication off the field and just bring a different level of expertise into that room for this week?
Well, I think it's his personality to start with. That's the huge thing, is because Josh is such a cool customer. Josh is no drama. Josh is just, he's just doing his thing. He understands the role. He knows why he's here. And so he's just going to be preparing. I think having Tannehill with the 2 of them is a bigger football factor to start with, because again, Josh has only been here 3 days. So, from that standpoint, he's not going to be able to tell you everything about the offense and, hey, look for this, look for that. I think he's there as a sounding board. I think he's there as a calming factor, a communicating factor. I think he's there because he's Josh Dobbs. And if he has to come into a football game to help you win it, he has a skill set that would allow you to do that, especially with his legs. Because, I mean, let's face it, if you get in a situation where he has to come in the ball game, his legs are going to be a factor due to his ability to run and to help you win in that way. And so from a gotta have help quickly standpoint, the brain and the legs are the two things that Josh Dobbs gives you if needed quickly.
Voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, has been our guest every single Friday right here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, brought to you by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Better rates, better coverage, and better service. That's why Tennesseans have been relying on Farm Bureau Health Plans for their health coverage for 75 years. Mike, hope you have a Merry Christmas. Have a good call tomorrow, and try to stay warm at Nissan Stadium tomorrow, too.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work, right?
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, there is voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, here with us on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. After this, a tailgate tip of the week. Hoping it's another warm one.
Yeah.
Courtesy of our friends at Maryland Farms Wine and Spirits. We'll give you some Christmas spirit, literally, when we come back on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone. Oh, it's the beautiful sounds of the Christmas season. My first pick in our Christmas song draft this morning that has the internet set ablaze. You're on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors with Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson. I'm Will Bowling. Our tailgate tip of the week coming up in a minute, but just enjoy this. Oh.
Hey, man, I've never heard this.
Takes me back, man. Takes me back.
What the?
For me. Yeah, it's so good. The Amy Grant version is the one we play. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
I never even heard this song.
Anything Amy Grant, always accepted in our household. Goated.
Amy Grant's amazing. Vince
An
Gill
icon.
is what I grew up on. My mom is a Vince Gill super fan.
Yep.
I can say for the first time in my life, y'all, this is the first time I've ever heard of Amy Grant sing. Oh, sorry.
Ramon.
Sorry.
Hey,
Are
let
you
the
kidding
man
me?
grow.
Yeah, let me grow. Well, don't be
Unbelievable.
smug soccer guy plus smug song like Christmas song guy. Don't be both. Okay, you can only choose one. And we've got the soccer thing under wraps already. You got to let me grow into
whatever.
this music thing. Okay.
You're from Tennessee and you haven't heard of Amy Grant.
I've never even heard of a Tennessee Christmas other than waking up in Tennessee on Christmas Day.
So Amy Grant, not a big name in Ripley, Tennessee, is what I'm hearing right now.
Nah, man, I never even crossed paths with an Amy Grant. Not even in high school.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
What is her hit of all time that I just can't get over? I'll always have that as one of my favorite songs. She's had some hits.
She has.
But she's had some specific ones, and I can't think of them off the top of my head. I'll look them up here and get back
Simple
to you.
Things.
Yes.
Takes a little time.
Oh, I love that one.
Lucky One.
I'm the lucky one. Yeah.
Yep.
What a
House
banger.
of Love with Vince Gill.
Oh yeah.
And then Baby Baby. Those are the top five.
Okay,
that
that's
pop
the
up.
one. Baby, baby. Dun, 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 dun,
Yep.
dun.
I thought
Okay,
it was
Ramon,
yeah.
Look up that one. Look up that one. I think you'll like it.
When you went baby, baby, I thought we were singing like Justin Bieber version of it.
No, don't you dare.
No.
Don't you dare blaspheme the name of icon Amy Grant by comparing her to Justin Bieber, please. Never again.
Well, you didn't know. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I was lost, but now I'm found.
Hallelujah. Christmas, just in time for the Christmas season. Hallelujah.
Oh boy.
Amazing Grace. I think we sing that come Eastern time, Ramon. Easter time. This is the birth. This is the beginning of goodness sakes. Oh, goodness. No, but that is the rite of passage, though, of going to a Belmont basketball game growing up, is seeing Vince Gill at Belmont basketball games. Because Vince Gill is like the Belmont basketball super fan. And
Is he?
if you go to a Belmont game, you're going to see Vince Gill there. Oh, yeah.
I think there's a part of the arena named with him, like a section of it or an area with Vince Gill's name, actually.
I think I knew so much about their music because I grew up going to so many Belmont games that you just see them. Like you see them around, like you see Vince Gill around. My parents like, oh, there's Vince Gill. And
they're great people to add to that.
Oh, they're awesome. Yeah.
By the way, I rode by on the date night. Me and my wife were going on date night about 2 weekends ago, right? And we rode by Belmont at night.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful university.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I rode by, I was like, what is this building? Because I'm not overly familiar with it like that, right?
Yeah.
I just ain't.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are these buildings? God, they're beautiful. Hey, wintertime, Belmont, phenomenal at nighttime.
This time of year, too, Christmas at Belmont, the big concert they do of like every single choir they have at Belmont. You have a ton of singers from around Nashville that contribute to that. That's aired everywhere. But that was another tradition for our family is anytime Christmas at Belmont was on and we're sitting around on Christmas Eve or Christmas, if we were going through the guide looking for something, we would pop in there 10 times out of 10 to watch Christmas at Belmont.
If you're an out-of-state person or out of Nashville person and you go into Belmont, it's almost as if it's like you're not in the city of Nashville because of the way they made it look. Like they curated this place so well with the way the buildings are. Like they're older, but like they're so well kept. I was just like, this is gorgeous. Are you sure this is not an Ivy League school?
Well, and Ramon, that is known. What Belmont is known for is its music, right? I mean, it's a music school. Like there's big time people that come out of Belmont.
I'd almost submit myself back to college just to be on that campus for about a week until I got my first test.
I mean, they're undefeated all time as a football program.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
They're 0-0,
Yeah,
but they're undefeated all time.
No football program.
That was phenomenal. That's almost like Columbia University too. Have y'all ever seen that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Columbia, it is one of those urban colleges in the city. That's beautiful too. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, our Laura on YouTube, by the way, watching on our 104.5 The Zone TV chat says it was on PBS last night.
There you go.
So there you go. Literally, we always record that and watch it back around Christmas. So good stuff for sure. All right. Well, it is that time of the week for our cocktail of the week, our tailgate tip of the week.
Yeah.
Courtesy from our friends at Maryland Farms Wine and Spirits. Go see them right next to the Publix in Brentwood, right off of Old Hickory Boulevard. They have got everything that you need to make this cocktail or any cocktail that we give you. So this is the Christmas Vacation Eggnog is what this is. You've got Cousin Eddie in the picture that they sent us. We'll put this out at Ramon Kayla Will on Twitter. The best Christmas movie there is, Christmas Vacation.
It's a good one.
So you're going to go with 1.5 ounces of bourbon, a 1/4 ounce of dark rum, an ounce of cognac, 5 ounces of eggnog, and a pinch of cinnamon and nutmeg. This sounds delicious.
That actually sounds pretty good right there. I've never actually had eggnog, but
I
I damn near try that.
Whoa.
You haven't?
Have you
Number
not?
5?
Oh my gosh. Eggnog is fantastic.
I think it's because of the texture. I guess I'm such a texture person. And people are going to think we're crazy, Ramon, for not ever having tried eggnog, but I can't do the texture. I don't know if I'm scared of it or what's going on.
I'm the same way. I'm with you on that one. Like, and what's crazy, I've seen people as of late like get eggnog and put like some real expensive like bourbon in it too. I didn't realize bourbon went inside of eggnog. I just thought it was like milk and eggs is what you're drinking on. You know,
well, that's the whole joke in Christmas Vacation is that it has bourbon in it.
Yeah, no, I had no idea like what eggnog. And Kayla. Will, at 36 years old, I don't think I'm willing to even actually try it and try to say I like it. That's where I'm at with it.
I need Jonathan Schaefer here. I'm outnumbered. Robert Walsh, our producer today. Robert, please tell me you've tried eggnog if you're there right now.
Yeah, I've tried it. It's too damn thick.
You see? See?
It's also too many ingredients. Like if I'm gonna get drunk in the cold, I'm just gonna get drunk. Like I don't need the egg and the nog. I'll just take the bourbon.
I'd much rather have a hottie toddy than I would an eggnog drink. And like
a hottie toddy. It's not called a hottie toddy. It's
a hot toddy. Whatever. I don't want to call anybody.
Come on. It's not.
Look at that hottie toddy.
It's not like Ole Miss.
Well,
it's just a hot toddy.
In the Foster's resident, so far, we not having an eggnog. Although Keisha's cousin, I think, drinks eggnog. I think my brother-in-law's wife, she does. But look,
see when you
it ain't getting no snaps.
Something like that, like I think my brother's cousin's friend drinks eggnog. It's garbage.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's hot trash. Even when it's cold, it's hot
trash. Well, it's not hot. Well, okay, there you go. Anything with that much eggs and milk in it can't be bad.
Yeah,
so it does have eggs and milk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think like the spiked cider you can't go wrong with.
Well,
spiked cider. I'm there for that.
Wow.
I'm with you on that.
Wow.
So, hold up. Like we out here like Rocky drinking eggs and milk. That's what we're doing.
I mean,
boxers.
Kind of.
That's a Christmas
go run up
movie.
the steps of the Capitol and throw. Rocky's not a Christmas
It happens
movie.
around Christmas.
It doesn't make it a Christmas movie.
That's exactly what makes it a Christmas movie.
I mean, I do love the Rocky movies, though. Don't get me wrong. That is like a sleeper for one of my favorite movie franchises of all time.
I hate when people do that, though. They're like, this isn't a Christmas movie. If a movie happened around Halloween, we would call that a Halloween movie. We would call that a scary movie, even if it wasn't about Halloween.
Halloween isn't as mainstream of an event as Christmas is, though, as far as of like the entire season around it. Like Halloween season is different than like the Christmas season. Christmas season is like twice as long. So odds are if you have a movie that lasts for a year, you're going to have Christmas involved in it.
Like Gremlins. Gremlins is a Christmas movie.
Is it really?
The gremlin that he gets, Mogwai or whatever its name is, was a Christmas present. It was a present to him. And so that is a Christmas movie.
Robert, I am going to put my foot
Interesting.
down here, though, and say that we have to avoid the MJ LeBron of Christmas debates and talking about, because every lazy radio show today is going to talk about, is Die Hard a Christmas movie and all this stuff.
Because
and,
it is.
we're just not going to go there.
Why'd you sound like the mayor right there?
Oh, did I? Whatever. But
Light is on. Yeah,
I
it's
wasn't
Die
trying
Hard,
to
a
sound
Christmas
like
movie.
anybody other than just like, why is it on? Just like, I don't know, just
Yo!
angry. But
Y'all
I
are-
wasn't trying to sound like Brent, but you're the good Lord. That's literally like the Christmas debate of like, who's the GOAT, MJ or LeBron? And I refuse to partake in such activities.
By the way, people in the chat are telling me eggnog is basically bull custard. I don't
Yeah.
want no parts of that.
No,
No,
no.
I ain't trying to hear. I don't care if you do put some Jack
Absolutely
in it.
not.
It'll make
Custard
it
is
smart.
great. Why don't you
Oh my
Absolutely
God.
not.
No.
Absolutely not.
That's like the angriest I've seen Kayla on this show is when,
And rightfully
Custard.
so.
Will never eat custard. And if that is remotely what eggnog is like, which I thought that would be the case, that's why I've never gone there.
See,
I'm not
you're on
mad.
your
I'm just
own here,
disappointed.
Will.
615-737-1045, the number. Hour 4 coming up next. And what Josh Dobbs had to say, talking to the media in his first visit with the Nashville media as a Tennessee Titan yesterday, studying as much as he can. We'll get his sound from the locker room yesterday, talking to Kayla, plus Ben Troupe, former Titans tight end, coming up at 9:20 this morning. Final hour of the week and of the Christmas season. Next on our snow day, Ramon Kayla and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
9 o'clock on the dot. What the hell's going on from the Superbook.com sports desk? I'm Robert Walsh. Last night on Thursday Night Football, the Jags moved one step closer to the AFC South crown as they took down the Jets 19-3. Trevor Lawrence finished the game with 229 passing yards and added another 51 and a score on the ground. Zach Wilson was benched in the third quarter for Chris Streveler as he took the Jets the rest of the way. In Titans news, Ben Jones and Terrence Mitchell were added to the injured reserve, effectively ending their regular season. Titans have already ruled out some players for Saturday, including Dylan Cole, Nate Davis, Christian Fulton, and Ryan Tannehill. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
And the show goes on for 60 more minutes on the Friday edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Christmas Eve, all around Music City, USA, and beyond, and a white Christmas. Perhaps. I don't think anything is freezing anytime soon. It is freezing outside, so pour a nice hot cup of Ramon, Kayla, and Will into your coffee mug.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
With Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, I'm Will Bowling. Robert Walsh making the show happen, filling in for the best producer in the world, Jonathan Schaefer, this morning. And you can go vote at Ramon Kayla Will on Twitter.
Yes.
For the winner of our Christmas song draft earlier this morning. I think this went very well for me. The people.
Oh, I thought he was going to say for us.
Well, for me. I think
He did say me, didn't he?
I got all the picks I wanted to have on my board. It's not my fault. I've got sophisticated taste compared to everyone else in this city.
Wow.
I'm
We're
kidding.
gonna lose votes now.
Right now, a narrow margin between Ramon and Kayla for first, and then a wide gap, and then Robert and I are scrapping for third place at the current moment.
Fight on, Will. Fight on, my brother.
Hey, go vote KK, please. Go vote KK.
Ramon is in the lead at 29.7%. Kayla is second at 28.5%.
Oh, boy.
I'm in third at 21.5%, and Robert is fourth at 20.3%. Our friend Brian Rice on Twitter chiming in saying, it's Ramon 1, Kayla 1A, then a huge gap to me. And then he says, don't let Robert draft again. Your draft has depth, but Kayla drafted the GOAT number 1. Robert, your thoughts?
Hey, look, tell Rice I'm about to run his granny over if he don't quit running.
Flag on
Rob will not stand any slander, man.
Oh, my goodness. Flag on the play. We'll hear from Joshua Dobbs and hear what he had to say coming up here in just a minute. In his first meeting with the media yesterday at St. Thomas Sports Park. Ben Troupe, former Titans tight end, coming up in about 15 minutes at 9:20 this morning here in our final hour of the show. But the injury report first, guys. And Kayla, Danico Autry looking to be back. No injury designation for him. Andrew Adams back. Jeffrey Simmons. And Amani Hooker questionable, so potentially a return from him as well. I say this just to start with the positives instead of all of the negatives that we've kind of started with earlier on in the show.
You know what? And it is the holiday season, so I appreciate you starting off with something positive on this beautiful Friday in Middle Tennessee. And I would say, yes, the big positive to take from there is Danico Autry probably going to be coming back. We have missed his presence out there. I know the defensive line, Jeffrey Simmons, has missed him as well. So I think that could be a big get for that defense. And you mentioned Treylon Burks on the offensive side of the ball. He's been out 2 weeks with a concussion. We saw him a little bit in practice this week. We could not talk to him because that is concussion protocol. But I think that fans should at least appreciate that you're getting those two pieces back. For everything else, that's to be determined and how it's going to all pan out on Saturday. But yeah, I like the positivity, Will.
Love it. The negativity is the entire offensive line, except for the left tackle, might be new in this one.
There it is.
Nicholas Petit-Frere, questionable at right tackle. Nate Davis officially out with an ankle problem at right guard. Ben Jones added to injured reserve. He will not play at center. Aaron Brewer at left guard with a rib injury, questionable. And Dennis Daly, no injury designation for him. He goes from a limited participant on Wednesday to a full participant yesterday.
Good, man. It's necessary. You're going to need all bodies on deck, man, especially everything has gotten a little tight now with this playoff run and the AFC South. As many healthy bodies as you can possibly get is going to be necessary to have. And I don't want to make it seem like, hey, it's only the Titans that deal with this type of stuff.
Right.
There are other franchises, man, that deal with this exact same thing in different years. It's just we talk about it. We're fans of the team and we're around it enough to say, man, the last 2 years, though, it kind of pierces a little bit more. And now that you're in a position that we always kind of speak about, especially the last few years, is the window open? Is it closed? What's the outlook of this team? And then you have a firing mid-season. Everything is just really amplified right now. So getting these bodies back, man, to try to close out these wins the rest of the season is going to be huge. And, of course, having conversation about who's going to be doing it. Even if you are getting some healthy bodies back, heck, how many people went to IR yesterday, Kayla? You see, so that's tough sledding for almost any coach, and nobody ever, throw in the towel when it comes down to this type of stuff. But coaches want to coach their players, and specifically the players they started with. And it's got to be a rough feel on the coaching staff, training staff, and even the players too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 615-737-1045, the number this morning. If you want to jump in, we go to the phones. Hear from Eric in Nashville up next with us here in hour 4. What's going on, Eric? Good morning.
Hey, guys, I'm going to get to the Titans in a minute, but all-time Chris songs, I like the fact somebody mentioned the Grinch. I actually sang that song a few years ago. But the fact there's one song I cannot believe that nobody mentioned. I got to throw this out there for all of them mentioned. Should have been everybody's top 10. How can anybody forget, especially you, Ramon, Nat King Cole's Chestnuts Roasting on the Open Fire?
That's a good
one.
one.
That is a Christmas classic.
One.
How anybody left that off? That's
the one everyone keeps mentioning to us.
It is.
Yeah.
Shame, Robert. Shame, man. I know.
Yeah. But as far as the game tomorrow, guys, I'm definitely going to be there. It is going to be bitter cold. Today, I don't know if I would have made it, but I'm going to be bones up with my Titans blanket. I'm just going to be sitting there just shivering at everything. But I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. I think the Titans are going to win, but it's going to be a close game. And I've even heard this, guys. I don't know if this is going to happen. The show that's on before y'all's, even though I can't remember the guy's name, the national thing on Fox, but he said that he believes that Mike Vrabel, even though he wouldn't commit about Tannehill, that he would not be surprised if it comes down to the last game, he could put Ryan Tannehill back in there for the last game against Jacksonville if it comes to that. I'd be surprised if that happens.
Wow.
But he's got a feeling that's what may happen if it comes down to it, but we'll see what happens, guys. Guys, y'all take care. Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
Appreciate the call. I do think there still is a small possibility, reading between the lines, Kayla, that Ryan Tannehill not going on IR at least leaves the door cracked, right? And we've seen so many of these reports. I mean, going back to Derrick Henry last year when it was Adam Schefter, TJ Watt earlier this year, the initial indications of reports where he's not going to come back. It's not an indictment on the people that reported it. It's the nature of injuries and the rehab process and where we're at just in terms of recovery in the NFL, that it's why the report did say likely to miss the rest of the season from those who did have that yesterday.
Right. There's always that chance. And yesterday, I think Ben Arthur even asked Mike Vrabel, specifically first and foremost, is Ryan going to play in this game? No, he's clearly out for this one. And then he pushed it a little and said, how about for the foreseeable future? And Mike Vrabel said, this is the game he's out for right now. So he wasn't going to give any hints to if he was out for the rest of the season. And if we would have seen that move yesterday, it probably would have been obviously on the transactions, which it wasn't. It was Ben Jones and Terrence Mitchell that have gone on IR. Now, that could happen the next couple of weeks where we see Ryan Tannehill end up on that. But I just don't think right now they're going to do that yet. If there's a little sliver of a chance he could come back in that final game of the regular season.
Man, that's what's so interesting about reporting too is, unless you're getting it from the horse's mouth sometimes, like that can get real sticky because I thought Ramel Keaton was done for a while. Cedric Tillman. I thought he was done for a while and go have a surgery. He's right back out there playing football. The medical technology has gotten dramatically and drastically better over the years. So these injuries, sometimes it may just have to be time. Tannehill's gotten beaten up this year.
Yeah.
So even if it's not designated IR, it's still a position which, heck, he just needs rest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it certainly does. And it makes it difficult to really know behind this offensive line just what the situation is going to be from week to week, too, and just how much in harm's way you're putting your quarterback, right? I mean, it makes sense to err on the side of caution with Ryan Tannehill. And, it's kind of ironic, Ramon, that Joshua Dobbs joins this Titans team. You look back at when Joshua Dobbs took over as the Tennessee quarterback for Quentin Dormady at the time.
Yeah.
Or not Quentin Dormady. That was a different situation. That was Justin Worley at the time. I'm thinking about two different quarterback battles. But the reason why he took over was because the offensive line could not protect a less athletic quarterback. And so you had the necessity of, behind this line, we got to put somebody back there that can run. That might be part of the positive right now for the Titans, is that Malik Willis is probably more suited to play behind this line that is completely patchwork at this part of the season than a 50% Ryan Tannehill is.
Oh, no doubt. The ability to escape the pocket and get downfield. And that's one thing we saw from Trevor Lawrence last night when the defense turned their back to him. If you're fast enough, and Trevor Lawrence was, and Malik is also, to catch that angle for that first down, especially if they've gotten so much smarter about extending that ball out over the line of scrimmage. I mean, out of bounds to get those extra yardage, and the quarterback is so protected. Also, I thought it was a few times where DBs or the safety pulled up on Trevor Lawrence, not trying to hit him, or at least trying to tackle him more safely because you didn't want to get that personal foul also. That is a weapon. You got to be able to use those types of things. And we saw the Jags use it, and I'm hoping Malik utilizes it too. And, of course, with the protection that Tannehill has seen as of late, man, it would be silly for Malik not to use his legs, or at least having game plan for it. And I saw this earlier too. It was a comment. It was like, we're forgetting all about Derek. I don't think you're forgetting about Derek and the way this weekend is kind of shaping up. Derek, to me, is like, he going to be there. But I'd also say this. You got to have something else if Derek's not working. Like, for me, I'll say this. The Texans will be idiots if they do not have 8, 9 in the box to stop Derek Henry, considering what he did to you last time, considering you don't know if Malik can actually throw the ball down the field, or if the coaching staff want him throwing the ball down the field. So where's the threat? There is no other threat other than running the ball. So the other person that that will have the ball in his hand, is capable of running the ball, Derrick Henry and Malik Willis. That's why I think Malik is so much more important in this game than Derek. Sure. It's got to be that way this weekend. At least you got to think that way, Kayla.
As an offensive lineman, now you're seeing Ben Jones go on IR. He was clearly not only the leader quarterbacking this offensive line, but really the heart and soul of this team, as Mike Keith says all the time.
Yeah.
And now you've got missing parts. You've got a rookie in Nicholas Petit-Frere that you're hoping is going to play. He's questionable right now. Like, who the heck steps up as a leader on that line? And knowing on top of it, you're protecting now for your rookie quarterback.
Or future, franchise quarterback. Yeah. It's two guys that I'm really looking to. Aaron Brewer, who's been there and understands what it takes. He's going to be the one I'll be looking at. If I was a young guy in this league, I'm like, okay, what is Brewer doing? It's him. And truthfully, and this will be something that'll be said going into the next season, NPF, you're no longer a rookie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Those are the two dudes that's got to lead this unit up front. And I mean, Robert Woods got to be in there chirping. Derek's got to be more vocal. Like, it's got to come from a lot of different ways, because your playmakers on this team is all young guys for the most part too.
And you could make the argument at this point that the guy with the most stable position on this Titans offensive line for next season is Nicholas Petit-Frere.
It is, Will.
Absolutely.
Because Nate Davis on an expiring contract, Ben Jones, an aging veteran coming off of another injury. And the injury doesn't really impact that, just the overall durability, right? Of a guy that's played a lot of snaps in his career. You look at Aaron Brewer, a guy that's been a backup for a lot of his time in Tennessee, and then Taylor Lewan on the left side, a prime candidate to save some money on next year with his contract. So Nicholas Petit-Frere at this point has got to kind of step up and be one of the guys in that room already at the end of year one, certainly if he is able to go tomorrow. Coming up next, we go to the phones once again and check in with our friend Ben Troupe, former Titans tight end, who saw his rookie receiving record taken by Chig Okonkwo last week. We'll not only get his thoughts on Chig and the passing of the baton from one former rookie tight end to another, but also Malik Willis, this Titans offense, and where this team takes the next step tomorrow against the Houston Texans. Ben Troupe coming up next on Ramon Kayla and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
That was so good.
It's Ramon Kayla and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, right here on 104.5 The Zone with Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson. I'm Will Bowling. One final hour of the show for the week, heading into Christmas, and the coldest game in Nissan Stadium expected tomorrow. And we go to the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline to preview that with our friend Ben Troupe, former Titans tight end, who joins us. Ben, good morning. How are you?
Always doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Appreciate you giving us a couple minutes. And to start with, Ben, have you ever seen injury luck like this for the Titans team? And the follow-up question I have is, are you available to possibly suit up tomorrow in Nissan Stadium for this game?
I haven't seen injury like this. And yes, I'm possible to suit up. Going on the field, I can suit up. I'll take the check. But going on the field, no, bro. Let me listen, in the words of my coach back when I first started playing football, it's not got bad. It's not got real bad. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, at this part of the season, what you're really doing is counting healthy bodies. That's what people don't understand is sometimes it's just making it to the end of the season, not necessarily how you finish. But Joshua Dobbs, man, the young man, I know he went to Tennessee and now he's there, with the Titans, man. He's one of the best stories. I think in the NFL, man, obviously, by far, he's the smartest player in the league. I mean, it ain't even close. But I'm rooting for him, man. I think sometimes when people get their opportunity, people think it's gonna be immediate. But I know he's been staying the course, and a great young man. Had a chance to interview him in the past, but I'm wishing him nothing but the best.
Hey Ben, real quick though, before Will take back over, you say that. But look, T.Y. Hilton signed to the Saints, I think, last week, and they already put him on IR, dog. That's all I need. I need just a month, okay? IR means guaranteed pay, Ben.
Absolutely. Listen, my last year in the league, man, I was with the Raiders, right? And at that point, I learned how to finesse the league. I mean, they come to me every week and say, hey, Troupe, if we played today, could you play? Nope. And I did that lasted for about 11 weeks. About week 13, 14, they were like, we finna get this dude up out of here. True, we saw you in San Francisco walking around yesterday. You gonna limp up in here today? Hey man, you gotta learn how to finesse the system, man. So yes, that guaranteed money. You know how it is. You gotta get it. You gotta get the best way you can get it.
No doubt.
I love it. Former Titans tight end Ben Troupe with us this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. So Ben, for someone who is I imagine had to catch some footballs in very cold weather. Tell us the most difficult part and kind of the process of playing in an environment like this one. The Titans have to be in a Nissan Stadium tomorrow, the coldest game in stadium history. How in the world do you stay locked in and catch footballs in this kind of weather?
You got to psych your mind out. The greatest thing happened for me is the offensive lineman that I played with, man, old lineman. They can't wait to call you soft. They look for any reason to call you and what they did for us is they would say, listen, you can wear sleeves out there if you want to. It's not doing anything. They said just go out there and play. They said this is what they pay you for. So for me, you didn't want to be the weak link in any given time. I mean, so you know the ball is going to be hard. You know the ground is going to be hard. You know you're going to have to deal with some elements, but the last thing you want to do is go to the meeting room and they don't know, did you drop the pads because it's cold or did you drop the pads because you soft? And you didn't want to have to answer any one of those questions. So for me, it's about just, paying my dues, man, and understanding if I want to be a strong link in the chain when the weather conditions get rough, they think because you living in a cold weather place, that's supposed to be a competitive advantage for you.
Yeah, Ben, that's crazy though. On the receiving side of it, for just giving context to our listeners on that, is the cold weather / the football / catching and gloves a big component on game day when it comes down to making decisions on what you want to be like on the field when the game starts?
It's huge. It's everything because as long as your career is, whether it's 10 years, 15 years, you're going to be known for certain things. It's not going to be every single game you play, but people are going to remember that every time people do a cold weather game with people talking about the Giants, they're going to show Tom Coughlin on the sideline with his face being super duper red with all that, blowing the smoke out his mouth. I mean, everybody's going to be known because those are the games, you know how it is. Ramon, those are going to be the games that you're going to talk to your family about. They're going to say, tell us about that cold weather. Oh, my God, because And the story, and hopefully you had a good game, and the story gets better and better as you get older. But if you had a bad one, when everything now is recorded, hey, man, you're going to have to turn the TV off and stay off social media, because if it was bad, they're going to show you every single time that team that you played on have a cold weather game.
And on the other side of that too, man, the game happened last night with the Jags, and the Jags really positioned themselves being in a really good way to where they're not overly, injured as far as their team goes. And they got an opportunity, man, to really give a push to the finish. Did you see this Jacksonville team being this type of team moving forward, considering how the Titans have kind of had a stronghold on the AFC South?
I'm very impressed. I mean, you got to give Doug Marrone a lot of credit, man. Coach Peterson a lot of credit for him coming in and just really righting the ship. Let's face it, 2020, 2021, though, a lot of those guys like Trevor Lawrence and those guys, they don't really know what it's like to be pros because it was so chaotic in that entire organization. You get a new head coach, you bringing guys like Evan Ingram and Zay Jones and Christian Kirk and these guys, and look, lo and behold, the Titans are really, really good when they got 5 and 6 game leads in the division. Now that they got to play for the division, and Malik Willis is going to be out there trying to start, we're going to see what they're made of. Yes, they still got to tackle Derrick Henry. But I think there's nothing worse than a young team that's motivated, that's learning how to win. Hey, man, the number 1 and number 2 overall pick played last night. One team loved they got, the other team, they're trying to find a way to get rid of them, and it's only been 2 years.
Okay, so there's a guy by the name of Chig Okonkwo, Ben, who just broke the rookie tight end record of yours, set in 2004. First of all, what is it like when you have a record broke? Are you happy about it? Is it weird? Are you happy for the guy? And then what have you really just loved about Chig this year?
Well, first and foremost, yes, you are happy about it. I mean, I'm never the type of player that cares about having records broken, but I think he's a utility player. I think he's like a young Delaney Walker. He can do it all.
Yeah.
This dude can do it all. I mean, coming out of Maryland, he plays with a chip on his shoulder. He can do it all, and I'm happy for him because the hardest thing to do is to find your niche in the National Football League. You want to be known, and hey, man, look, it's been a long time since I strapped it up to know that my name can still come up around Nashville, Tennessee. It's always humbling, but I think the young man is as good as he wants to be. I think he got a coach that's going to pull it out of him, and Mike Vrabel. But, yeah, every time I see him, people go, but that boy look like you. And I said, that boy don't look nothing like me. I can't even say his last name, but I'm happy he played for the Titans, man. I'm happy for him, and I think the sky's the limit because you know how it is, Ro. When you're in a city like Nashville and a team like the Titans, it gives you a chance to grow as a player because the scrutiny of having to be right here, right now is not the same. That media market ain't as big. And like I said, coming from Maryland to Nashville is probably a culture shock for him. But, I mean, when it comes to his game, hey, man, he's a Georgia boy, man. I'm always rooting for the boys that went to Georgia, played Georgia high school football out there in Sandy Springs. I'm happy for him.
Nice, man.
And in the way that they just have incorporated tight ends even more in the game, it's always kind of fun to see them get theirs. Just in your time and now seeing it with the tight ends that have emerged, like how fun is that for you to watch?
It's great. It's great because obviously I'm biased when it comes to the tight end position. Obviously, I would love to have, a guy like Travis Kelce who was you just can't stop him. But it's what it brings to the offense. I mean, the tight end is not just a guy that can just move the chains. Hey, man, he could be deadly in the red zone. He could be a guy that could be a big-time blocker. I think the tight end position is growing. It's more of a glamorized position now. Guys are, they eat a couple of more carbs in high school, man, so they can go from receiver to tight end, and I'm happy about it. I really, really am because I think they do tight end you in Nashville with George Kittle and those guys, so it's a brotherhood. It's a brotherhood.
Ben Troupe with us, former Titans tight end under Ramon Kayla and Will. Ben, what was the biggest adjustment for you during your rookie season where you feel like you made the biggest strides from the beginning of the year to the end of the year as we get to this point in this season? And where have you seen Chig Okonkwo make some similar strides and improve on his game from the beginning of this season?
Taking coaching and applying it. Like, people always think, oh, can you take coaching? Taking coaching is rough because you think it's going to be this pleasant thing, but they only yelling at you, screaming at you because their livelihoods are on the line. And what I think, but he's applying it. You got to be able to apply. It's not one thing to just know what you're supposed to do. You got to do it. I mean, at the end of the day, what I'm seeing them doing is they're not going to throw you the ball just because you're athletic. You got to earn that Monday through Saturday. So when you get in the game, you can show why we drafted you where we drafted you. So I see him just applying what they telling him. It's a slow and steady process. Don't get caught up in the Pro Bowls. Don't get caught up in the notoriety. Do what you need to be the best player at your position for your team. That's what I see him doing. And like I say, once his ability catch up to that coaching, it's going to be hell to pay in the AFC South. Because this young man, he got all the tools.
Well, Ben, it's a similar conversation right now around Malik Willis taking over at quarterback tomorrow at Nissan Stadium. What have you liked from him this season? What would kind of be your message to him going into tomorrow's game and really these last three games that sort of end up being an audition to be the guy long-term here in Tennessee?
Well, I like his patience. I like his professionalism. And I would tell him, man, just be who you are. Don't let nobody tell you that you being who you are is what got you here. You just got to show them that who they draft in the second round is more than worth the pick. I mean, coming out of Liberty, he went from being potentially the number one overall pick to going in the second round. That means he's going to be a starter. I mean, I feel bad for Ryan Tannehill going down, but show them what they have in the future. You are the future of this organization. They get to learn a lot about you in the last three games, and you playing meaningful football. You're going to be playing for the division when you play the Jags. That's what you want. So no matter, you know how it is, Ro. I don't care if you're 21, 22. If we put you in there for meaningful snaps, you better get that dub because that's what we brought you here for. It's not how many games. It's how you play on the games when you play. I think the young man is special. I just think they're going to have to protect him because no matter what, he still got Ricky next to his name.
And Ben, that's where I was kind of like pushing that conversation a little bit around the fact that we knew Tannehill was going to be out. His ankles, Tannehill, that is, man, they've been on his neck, man, as far as like getting after him and the injuries. He hasn't had any time to rest. But at the moment in which Malik is gaining the control of this franchise, right, and you can kind of say that because they drafted him for a reason. But it's the end of the year. A new GM potentially is coming in, Ben, like, how big of an opportunity is this for next year? And just the idea that, look, decisions can be made if he goes on a run for a young guy like Malik Willis in this league from your side of things, the way you look at it.
I think it's huge. Listen, every day in football is an audition. You want to make sure you the guy for the show. I think Malik Willis get an opportunity to impress everybody. New GM that's coming in, the fan base. Most guys in the NFL don't play meaningful football. Most guys already know their season is over with. They just got 3 games left. He has meaningful football. And, Ro, I wish it wasn't like this, but we front runners. We don't like to say it out loud. You know how easy it is to play when we winning? You know how hard it is to come to work when we losing? You know how hard it is to take coaching when you losing? He doesn't know anything about that. The class of the AFC South is in Nashville. I don't care what Jacksonville is doing. I don't care what Indy is doing. I don't care what Houston is doing. The class of the AFC South is in Nashville, and he's a part of that. All people care about is where you end up. If you're playing in January, that means you help your team get there. Nick Foles has a statue outside of Philadelphia Eagles Stadium, and he played for 4 games in the playoffs. That's just how it goes. I mean, I'm sorry. Listen, I love Donovan McNabb. You know, I love Jaworski, those guys. But guess what? Nick Foles, not Randall Cunningham, not Michael Vick, Nick Foles. So, hey, if this young man goes on the run, and Lord forbid he make it in the playoffs and win a playoff game, people gonna be losing their mind in Nashville.
Yeah. And that's where I was, just thinking about for a guy like him, like this is big. And let's talk about the game real quick, Ben. I think we got you for a few more minutes. The game. And the reason I think it's so big for Malik is the opportunity that Derek get this weekend. Like the Texans would be malpractice, man, if they did not put 9, almost 10 in the box to stop him. Considering what he's done against them, not just last time, but historically, Derek's burned this team. And you don't know if Malik can throw it. Like Derek, this game and how they approach him has got to be, look, anybody but him.
I think at the end of this game, this is what we're going to know. We're going to know who Mike Vrabel is. If we come out of this game, if Mike Vrabel treats Malik Willis how he treats Ryan Tannehill, that's Mike Vrabel's fault. Why do you don't draft quarterbacks who hand the ball off? I don't care if Derrick Henry is behind him. You play quarterbacks to throw the football. Let him throw it. Because if he does lose the game, which I hope he doesn't, he has Ricky attached to him. But if he wins it, because the goal. I always say this, Coach. I can live with losing if we use everything we possibly could to win the game. I can't deal with losing if you say, man, we should have called this play and called that play. No, let him throw the ball. And I get it, man. He's young. Listen. The football is a young man's game. Don't let guys like Tom Brady fool you. Ain't nobody trying to play in their 40s, man. He's a one in a lifetime player. Let the man throw it. Because I'm gonna say this. Malik Willis gonna say the right things because he's in a position to say the right things. But if he's in year 10 in this position and they didn't let him throw the football, he gonna be honest. Let the young man throw it. You don't got to put him in position to win the game. Just don't make him be the scapegoat if you lose the game. Let him go out there and throw that. Let him go out there and throw that thing and see what happens.
Well, and what he's going to love about this one is they're probably going to get Traylon Burks back, the rookie wide receiver who we've seen some great things out of when he has been healthy. Like, how big is it for him to be out there for Malik this weekend?
It's huge because you want two guys. Listen, coming in with guys that get to grow together, that makes your journey in the National Football League a lot better because we both got to deal with the same screw. Even though one being the first round pick, the other being the second round, I think those guys. Traylon Burks is a bad boy, man. I mean, if he can if he can just get them injuries up, which it happens. Oh, make no mistake about it, man. Them DBs, they don't want to deal with him. They don't want to deal with thick receivers that can run routes. DBs don't like guys that want problems like Traylon Burks. I'm telling people this. When Malik Willis is standing on the other sideline looking at a guy like Trevor Lawrence, and if he stare him in the face and he beat him, people gonna be like, wait a minute, he was the number 1 overall pick, he was a second round pick, and one is moving on. The hardest thing to deal with is to have one game to win it and you lose it. I like Tennessee's chances. I know Derrick Henry gonna have a lot to do with it. I know that defense, and Byard and those guys gonna have a lot to do with it. But hey, man, you know who I'm rocking with, man. I'm always biased. I'm rocking with them boys from Nashville, no matter what.
I love it. Ben Troupe, our guest, former Tennessee Titans tight end, with us this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Ben, appreciate the time as always, and we'll do it again soon.
Man, appreciate you guys for having me, man. Happy holidays to you, man. Y'all be good.
Happy
You as
holidays,
well.
my brother.
Thank you, sir. There is Ben Troupe with us on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline this morning as on Zoom this morning, Ramon Foster goes through literally every single filter you can put. Like he's a kid using a cell phone for the first time on Snapchat for the first time, realizing you can put like cat eyes on your face.
Hey, don't be hating on me, man, that I'm out here having a good time. It's the holiday spirit. You know what? Well, I'm going Grinch. Here we go. Now what? Better lock your windows.
That boy looks like a sexy hamburger.
Oh my God, what is that? The hamburger. Yes.
Well, we'll see what other filters Ramon Foster has by the time we come back. Get you some keys to the game and a little bit of Macho Man Todd Titan as we close out the week of shows. Next, Ramon Kayla and Will, 104.5 The Zone. One final segment of Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. And I don't even want to talk over Mariah for a second longer. It wasn't the 1-1 selection. It was 1-2. A franchise quarterback selected second this morning in our Christmas song draft. But this is as good as it gets right here. Just soak it in. Soak it in. There it is. Great way to finish off the show with a little bit of Mariah Carey. Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. A Merry Christmas to you and to your family this weekend. A happy holidays. It is a joyful time of the year always, and we are thankful to be a part of your morning, be a part of your day every single weekday here on The Zone. So from our family to yours, and from our radio family to your family, enjoy the weekend. Enjoy a frigid Saturday in Nissan Stadium tomorrow if you're going to be there, and be safe this weekend, and looking forward to a great Christmas for sure.
Yeah.
Man, that just got me going.
Same,
there's just something about the buildup in the start of that song where everything else, all the worries just go away. And I get lost in Mariah's vocals.
I don't know. It's not really the same for me now that there's that video of her just voice cracking through literally the entire song.
Okay, don't spoil it.
Yeah, she can't be great forever, Will. Come on, man.
That's right.
The version you listen to is coming off YouTube and it's perfection. I mean, it's coming off an iPhone.
Hey, I know everybody likes to downplay Peyton Manning's Super Bowl, but he still won a Super Bowl with the Broncos, dang it. You can't be bringing down Mariah Carey just because she had one bad moment. Yeah. She got carried to that point.
and right. You know what, Bert? I'm going to continue to say Peyton was down in that game he played against us. He slid and gave himself up. If it wasn't for that illegal he'd never got that Super Bowl. Do you understand me?
But you're not bitter about it, are you?
I ain't bitter about it. Nah, I'm cool. I'm a little bitter. Might.
Oh, my goodness. Keys to the game brought to you by your Middle Tennessee Toyota dealers. Ramon Foster begins our keys to the game for a Titans win over the Houston Texans tomorrow.
He's to win. First and foremost, don't let the elements be a thing. Guys won't admit it, but it can be, especially on special teams. I said this earlier this week. It's not the guys that are out there, the 11 guys out there, going through play after play after play. It's the guys on special teams and the kickers. Like, I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I look at this and I kind of say to myself, points are a premium, yards are a premium. Special teams, no hidden yard is given up, and specialists, kickers and punters, make them when you have to.
Yeah, I think special teams is huge because I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. And so you want to believe that the key to this one really does come from, you got to put up some points, but this Titans defense, just with getting possibly Danico Autry back, Amani Hooker back, continue to do what the defense has done for majority of the season, and that's hold this team together. I think that they still take a lot of pride in what they have done for this team up to this point. So just continue that and don't let the Texans come in here and spoil people's Christmas.
I'm with you. And I think the number one key for me, I think those are two good ones, have to win the turnover battle in this game. I don't see a way that you win this game losing the turnover margin, because we're going to be talking about the exact same thing that happened last year when you took on Houston and Nissan Stadium. If you're not careful, your margin for error is very, very, very small. I think the Titans can build off of the positivity they had on defense last week in picking off Justin Herbert a couple of times and creating those turnovers. You're going to have to take advantage, though, when those opportunities come to you. Titans have to play perfect complementary football in this one. It's a cliche, but it's truer in this game than it has been all season, that when you get one thrown to you by one of the two quarterbacks by the Houston Texans or they put it on the ground, you got to get points pretty much immediately off of those turnovers.
You do. My second key, Will, is young guys, new starters. It's too late in the season to be acting like rookies or young guys anymore. Malik, step up. Chig, step up some more. NPF, don't go backwards. Aaron Brewer, lead them up front. Like, that to me is more important almost than anything that's going to go on, that's going to happen on the field. These guys can't be amateurs this weekend. It's too much at stake.
I'm with you. That one, and then my second key, really, let Malik cook. Honestly,
like Ben Troupe said,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Let him break free and be the guy for a game. And although this is always going to be a Derrick Henry game, and the weather conditions are going to play a role in that, I want to see Malik Willis rolled out of the pocket. I want to see him able to make plays off schedule with his legs, like he was doing on his one drive in Los Angeles over the weekend. Malik Willis will be at his most comfortable when he is roaming outside the pocket and making plays on the run.
Yeah.
And he might have to behind an offensive line that is pretty much completely backups at this point of the season. I think you help him the most and make him the most comfortable by rolling him out more often than not, and not making him just stand in the pocket and put his foot in the ground.
And I still think you have to just not overlook or not underuse Derrick Henry. Look, that's the guy. It has been the guy. His record shows against the Texans that this dude can tear those Texans up when he wants to. And in the cold weather, it's December, like, end it with a bang, right, Derrick Henry? Like, end it with a bang and get in the end zone, get this guy going.
I love it. All right, one final check on our poll this morning at Ramon Kayla Will on
Please
Twitter. The best draft in our Christmas song draft this morning. The poll results are getting a little bit closer.
Stop.
Not quite as big of a gap.
Go vote for it.
From second and third. Ramon still has the lead. It's actually a longer lead at this point at 29%.
Ooh.
Kayla's in second at 27%. I have made a big push up in third at 24%. Robert Walsh bringing up the rear at 18% now.
Dang, Rob.
Robert, I'm sorry that the people are not respecting your musical choices the way that they should.
That's fine. They ain't got to listen to my music. If in fact, y'all ain't got to listen to my music ever, because we're going to have Macho Man on the second. He going to be silent. Y'all ain't even going to get Macho Man's theme music. Y'all going to let me take up the back. I know I'm new here, but substitute teachers can still write a note. And when Schaefer comes back in
true.
here, it's on for y'all.
Still right in.
Hey, I didn't dish your music at all.
All right, Kayla's cool. Ramon's cool. Will.
I just said the people. I said I feel bad that the people don't respect the musical choices of yours as they should.
Rob, it's okay to say he's on notice. Put him on notice, man.
Well, a round of applause, please, for Robert Walsh making his way to the studio today. Available to make the show happen. Yes, we give you your flowers now here at the end of the show. We are from home on Zoom today, and you are not. So job well done by you, Robert. Again,
hey, that's what I do, man. I show up every day like the mailman.
Delivering eggnog.
Love it.
Hey,
love
good
it.
people,
Well,
Merry Christmas, man. Be safe this weekend from me and mine to you and yours, man. Enjoy this. Christmas falls on a Sunday. You get an opportunity to watch a bunch of NFL games. Enjoy family. Screw the presents, okay? Well, I know you're excited about the Legos you're getting, but no, enjoy people. Look at him shaking his head like, yeah, I am excited about it. No, but enjoy each other, man, is what I say to everybody. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and everything else that's involved in it.
We finish off the show as we do before every Titans game. Macho Man Todd Titan sends us into the holiday weekend. Thank you for listening. Be safe. Have a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas. And Todd Titan, take it away.
Ooh, yeah. Music to my ears. And it's time for the Mach to deliver his holiday cheer. Yeah, 'twas the night before Christmas. The Texans were in town. The Titans needed a victory to turn their frowns upside down. The weather was bad and the temperature like ice. The Texans had been naughty and the Titans had been nice. We've played them before and we know what to do. King Henry gets 100 and maybe even 2. So Texans, get ready. We're going to take your soul. You're getting no